I didn't raise that for clout or something, just that to say that when you get that shit, other problems that other people complain about all the time, they turn to not very important levels.
Yeah, it's like at this moment in time, as a celebrity saying something on Twitter isn't world-ending.
Yeah,
when you compare
I think
actual real problems.
Yeah, and I think that is a good segue into this stuff, because they complain about things that are just not really problems and hate me for that. I hope your stream doesn't get cancelled because of me.
Wait, 1 sec before we start. Hey guys, you guys in the chat, can you see if there's something wrong with the screen? Is there a problem? Because I'm seeing different things on my YouTube as I am on my broadcasting software. It looks like there's a big cut of the top left-hand side, like a quarter of the video, as opposed to what I normally see in the video. Let me actually look at my own stream lives. It looks very awkward for me. This has actually never happened before, so I want to make sure it's actually streaming properly. You know what?
Fine to me.
It looks fine, yeah. I'm getting a preview that's just a quarter of the top one quarter of the screen. I'm like, what the hell? So I see like Jesse's face sliced in half and just the Enterprise.
Yeah, no, I don't see that.
Oh, okay,
right.
good. Fine. I'm like, what the hell happened?
Weird.
All right, sorry about that. I was just freaking out there for a moment. Anyway, good afternoon, folks. Welcome to Smudcast number 190, How Good Celebrities Turn Transphobic. Wow, a Jessie Gender vid. It's been a while. We sort of said goodbye to Jessie Gender a few months ago because she stopped talking to us. We were going to have her on once, and that went into weeks and weeks and weeks, and then we just, she gave up, stopped. She's radio silence pretty much. So I did not know we had one more of her videos on the docket. So voila, here it is. Fantastic. So
I must have missed that other episode then.
Well, yeah, the first one we did, I think it was with Shiny. We were bashing the crap because she was really into the lower decks, and we were just we were just jumping all over that video. It was so badly put together, and we thought, okay, we got to reach out to this person. We're nice about it, even though the takes were crazy. But let's get her on. And she said yes. And then it took weeks and weeks. And she said, I'm busy, but I'll definitely have some free time in 2 weeks. You're like, okay. And went on 3 times over. And by that time, it's just she stopped replying, and I stopped caring.
That is sadly not an uncommon behavior.
Yeah, we saw the same sort of behavior with the Goldman as well. Only he was a bit more. I got school. So he did actually reply, but I mean, they seem like nice people. They seem kind and caring and open and honest. But
personally, I don't really care if someone like I wouldn't really hold it against someone if they don't want to come on. I mean, I think live debates, I guess, aren't always the best
message coming in
format for actually changing anyone's mind.
I agree. We're not here to change people's minds. We're here to just talk to them as people. We did that with Make Stuff. I think his name is John. And we did that for about 5 hours with Glib and everyone else. And we were pretty quiet and calm and cool. And it was just basic talking about why you think this way. And that was that. We didn't try to change anyone's mind. And, you know, he was a Star Wars fan. He loved all the prequels. Or sorry, the sequels. So, yeah, that was fine. Like, that was it. That's all we wanted to do, just have a chat. And for whatever reason, they won't come on. So if they said, no, we can't make it, then fine. I'd be totally fine. I would. But if you keep saying you're going to do something, and I ask you months and months later, forget about it. Anyway, so if you guys haven't noticed, we have a new guest. Wisp, how's it going?
Hello, I have my caffeine.
All right. Fantastic.
Oh, you went live before?
Oh, you have?
Sorry, I didn't have the browser open.
Oh.
I mean, with the stream at the same time.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't know what it does with my bandwidth.
Ah, good question. Yeah, I don't know. I wish I could tell you that. So anyway, let's get started. It's a 30-minute video, guys. It's going to take us probably 2.5 hours at least, and we might not even get finished it. So I couldn't tell you. So anyway, let's get going. Kyle Rocket, thank you, sir. Are we roasting her here, or we don't know yet? I watched a bit.
Well, I probably am.
You probably okay. Well, you'll roast anyone.
I probably am.
It doesn't matter what it is. You're gonna roast.
Well, you have your token on the topic here.
Yeah.
I don't want to go into roasting, but it may just sound like that at some point.
Yeah, it really depends.
I'm not going to pretend like I'm going in with a completely blank impression here. You know, I'm not
I
going to
haven't seen this
pretend
person
that I'm
before.
like. I mean, even just like from a scroll through the videos, you know, like even just from that, it like is just sort of like okay, I'm kind of open-minded, but also kind of not really. You know, like it's I want to be open-minded, but you know, I can't pretend.
Fine, I'll be the open-minded one. Fine, I drew the short straw. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
any predictions? Any predictions? For
Oh,
the video?
okay, yeah, sure. She's gonna.
For what the arguments will be?
Oh yeah, she's gonna totally bash William Shatner because he said something months ago that was sort of like, "Why are you using the word cis?" In this sort of conversation. I don't do that. That's for crazy people or whatever he said. So she's going to bash him that way. And William Shatner is an old boy. I mean, what are you going to say? He's an old guy. He's just doing what he does.
Yeah.
So
obviously J.K.
Give a shit.
Rowling.
Oh, J.K. Rowling for
Rowling
sure. Yeah.
Is also in the thumbnail.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she's just what I like about J.K. Rowling is she spent ages pandering to this crowd. And then just one different thought, different thought, and it's like, and 20 years of pandering has just been forgotten about.
It's so weird though, because I feel like the term TERF, it's bizarre because of like where the term comes from, because it's like an acronym, but it's like when someone I've been called a TERF before, but it's like, dude, I'm not a feminist, so
TERF.
TERF
to me is what you put down your lawn. You know,
yeah.
TERF. Also on like a football pitch. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Why am I some grass, seed, and soil? I don't get this. What is it meant to be?
It's weird because it's just a sort of generally used for anyone who's quote unquote transphobic. But it's weird because it also the acronym implies that you're a radical feminist. If you got as though someone's a TERF. That should also.
What is
it's trans exclusionary radical feminist.
Trans exclusionary radical feminist.
Yeah,
right.
it shows that even the accurate seeming terms they come up with, they use in a way that makes them lose their meaning.
If a feminist tells me what the meaning of a word is, I automatically believe they're lying because they have no idea what words mean.
Patching it through.
It's just babble.
That toxic masculinity, you know, all that sort of stuff. It means nothing. They're just made up words half the time.
And I don't mind.
Open mind, Hawk.
Yeah.
Open mind.
I don't mind new words. It's just that when the words are so loosely defined or so generic,
it's how they're used. That makes them generic.
That's why
even if the dictionary definition says one thing, if how it's used is really vague in a lot of situations that are seemingly contradictory, then that's what makes it vague. You know.
Yes. A moment of autism. A new word is called a neologism, and there are natural rules as to when it is. When it makes sense to have one, and in the German language we constantly come up with some of them, and I think there's 3 rules, but I only ever remember 2 of them, and that is 1, it needs to be precise, so it describes something that you couldn't describe before in an accurate fashion. The second is that people accept the use of it naturally, organically. So what the social justice people do, they socially engineer it into people that they have to use it. That is not an organic change and the evolution of language, but they use the excuse that, well, language does evolve and stuff and change as a justification to socially engineer.
But by evolving, it's essentially almost a Darwinian way, because it's like how it's used determines. Yes, so when a way that it's used falls out of favor, then that's no longer the meaning. But the way the sort of SJWs or academics or whatever when they change the definition of a word, it's basically an argument from authority, and it's like we're going to impose this definition from the top down. It's prescriptive, not descriptive. Whereas like it should be descriptive. It should just describe how people use it. It shouldn't be here's how you must use it, and when we're going to tell you how to use this word.
Yeah, and even in hard science, the rule that it is precise and it helps you to more precisely articulate yourself and the problem and describe something, that rule is still upheld. When socialists at large, throughout history, come up with new words, with their newspeak, it almost always makes language more imprecise. It muddles language. It's the opposite of what a natural evolution of language does. Instead of becoming more precise, it becomes less precise. As they have done with the term trans, which initially just referred to people with gender dysphoria who are transitioning, or gender dysphoria in itself. What they use it now with sounds that they don't say it, but it sounds a lot like they mean transcendence of gender.
It's weird. So
then you are that.
If you imply that someone has to have gender dysphoria to be legitimately trans, then that's a thing called what's the term?
True scum.
That they I've heard that, but that's not what the word I'm thinking of.
Medicalist?
Yes. That
was the old one. Right. There was the old one. True scum came later.
Yes, and it's sort of it's like, oh, you're excluding people who don't have dysphoria at all, but they still want.
Yes, I do.
And it's like, yes, sometimes it's okay to be discriminatory. I don't know if that's a hot take, but sometimes
it's relevant to be.
There's a time and a place to gatekeep.
There's two points to be made about that. Number one is they always say, oh, you must not gatekeep, let us in. And once they're in and taken over control, power, whatever, maybe just by quantity, then they start gatekeeping and say everyone who doesn't think like us, like the dogma, has to get out, can't be let in. Then they start gatekeeping on the trans thing. And I felt back on this for a long time. Now I'm really hard with the comparisons. This is a medical condition. If you think it's not, you don't need medical help. So you don't need to transition. Which means you don't need hormones. You don't need anything else. You don't need surgery, and nobody needs to pay for that because, as you say, you are not suffering. You don't have a condition. Okay, but these people say, oh, I don't need the condition in order to get the medical help, which is. And because when you get your HRT, some of the endocrinologists work in oncology, which means you take up the same slots as cancer patients, for example. Imagine the social justice people wouldn't blindly claim to be trans or have gender dysphoria when they don't have it, but instead would claim to have cancer and demand that they get chemotherapy. And that a diagnosis is not relevant to get that, and that I don't care about the side effects of chemotherapy. Chemo is extraordinarily expensive, and the people with cancer do need it. And slots for that are limited. What happens is that pandering to these people only leads to them cutting in line and getting in the way of people who actually suffer and need medical help.
I would imagine the number of people who need cancer treatment are much higher than those with dysphoria regarding their identity. So that would be more of a life-threatening condition than it is a life-changing therapy. So you would actually need these things in order to survive, as opposed to being comfortable in your own skin.
It depends a lot on the dysphoria, and that's a topic in itself.
I see.
And
okay.
I don't want. I already derailed way too much here.
Okay. All right. No problem. All right. Thank you. Let's keep going. Punished Berserker. Hello and thank you. Why use cis and trans when you could just say right-brained and wrong-brained? Oh dear.
Oh, Bears. Oh.
Yeah. Probably not the right response you were looking for there.
No. We can't laugh at that. No. We've turned transphobic.
Oh dear.
Well, in a way, that is what scientifically these terms mean. just in a more cruel way.
I always think my brain always goes to chemistry
when
I hear cis and trans. That's just how you were taught those words. So when I hear them about humans, I'm like, that's a really weird take to use that terminology, but fine. That's what part of our vocabulary now.
It's especially weird because at least with homosexuality, you can at least find examples where animals engage in it to some extent. But you're not going to find an animal that really cares what syllable you use to refer to them in the third person.
That problem you mainly get with the people who claim to be trans, but turn out to just have narcissistic personality disorder or borderline personality disorder. Those are the most likely to falsely believe to be this, and since they claim this superficially, they are the people who make all their medical conditions their identity, because their conditions actually suppress the development of an actual personality.
And I think all of these sort of extra ones, and basically anything that's I'm above the concept of gender, or I'm blah blah, all these extra things, anything that requires a third pronoun is sort of there's no barrier of evidence to prove that this is a real condition that you have. It's only the pronoun. The only difference is the pronoun. You don't have to do anything to say that you're non-binary. You don't have to feel any pressure, because if there is any pressure, well, that's medicalism, and you're saying they actually have to have a condition that means they want to medically change their bodies. But if they don't even need to have that to identify as non-binary. They don't even need to have that low of a barrier of evidence to show that. They could literally just say, I demand you refer to me with this pronoun. It's like, but why?
With this royal pronoun.
It's sort of...
I'll be very direct here. This behavior shows all the signs of Munchausen syndrome. They make up a condition or copy a condition or medically appropriate, to use their language in a way, to get attention and feel special. And this is why because this is a lie they construct about themselves, and all the world needs to subject themselves to their lie, how they rewrite reality. You can invalidate them simply by not subjecting yourself to the lie. Or someone with actual gender dysphoria who takes effort who does transition or not, doesn't care about whether you call them names, because that doesn't change whether you call me he or she. Doesn't change who and what I am inside. You can't change that by calling me names.
It's not something like you can, to some extent, you can do the sort of the brain scan tests with trans people where they go, you see their brains are similar in this way to the gender that they identify with, right? So you can do that kind of thing. Even that I'm kind of skeptical of, because it's very they still don't act. You can still identify, you can still separate the trans female brain from just a female brain. Even though it's more similar to a female brain than a male brain, you can still identify which one's the trans one.
Yeah, they're not 100% the same.
Yeah, but even then, even if they were, that still has nothing to do with non-binary, right?
Exactly.
Because that has nothing to do with that. You can't scientifically prove someone's correct pronoun. There's no tests you can do to prove someone's correct pronoun, because it's not a scientific argument. It's a semantic argument. It's about
a couple of years ago, I had an argument with an SJW about that, who claimed to be non-binary while also being trans. And we were arguing about whether the non-binary thing is an actual thing. And that the argument of the SJW was that there are so many people claiming this, so it must be a thing. So by simply claiming it is reality.
Bigfoot is real.
Exactly, kind of like that. Or we can communicate with aliens because we dream it. Any esoteric thing.
We're going to get to the next level. We're going to get to the next level by getting in the flying saucer and our fucking Nikes.
Yes, and I was trying to explain in the most simple words I could at the time that no, this doesn't prove that non-binary is a thing. It just proves that there is something happening because a lot of people are claiming something which makes it worthy to investigate. But that does not mean that the outcome will be proof that non-binary does exist.
But it's what is the
data we have? It doesn't.
What is the meaningful difference? That's the problem, though. Like, what is the meaningful difference? And there's a meaningful difference between a man and a male who has gender dysphoria. You know, there's a meaningful, measurable difference. There's no meaningful, measurable difference between someone who has all of the physical attributes of a female, but just demands to be that you use non-female pronouns. There's literally no actual difference, and it makes no difference to their life either. It doesn't change, there's nothing about it doesn't change what jobs they can have. It doesn't change what benefits they can receive from the government. It doesn't actually affect anything about their life other than what syllable people use to refer to them in the third person when they're probably not even there.
Yes,
so that's it. It's not just that, like, you literally could not scientifically prove it. It's not scientifically provable because it's not really a scientific claim.
Yeah, the main difference that I use to explain the difference between gender dysphoria and what people claim about this when they claim to be non-binary, which is all these magical genders, astral gender, swamp gender, and then all these others, is that when you have dysphoria, it's sort of like you have a phantom. You know what a phantom limb is, or ghost limb?
Yep.
Yeah, imagine that, but you have it full body, and it's your brain expects to get signals from the parts of this phantom limb body, but of course, because there are certain parts are not there or in the wrong place, your brain gets confused, and this is like constant error messages on your computer screen. Yeah. This confuses, this stresses out, and this is subtle. This is low level. It just takes years to wear you down. That's the problem.
We should probably actually watch the video. Let's be honest.
All right.
Let's
keep going.
Yeah.
I
just wanted to. I hope I can do this in 2 sentences. It's just that the one with gender dysphoria knows exactly where that person needs to go, to the other sex, to get rid of this.
And you have something you can compare it to, right? You have
It's you could say it's an attraction force. And the people who claim non-binary and all this other nonsense, they just want to get away from themselves because they don't like themselves or something, but they don't have a direction. It's a repelling force. It's a self-disdaining, resentment. But that's just my babble.
All right.
Sorry, I missed that. Can you repeat that?
No.
Just start from the beginning.
Watch the recording.
There you go. You can catch it later, Hawk. Give it 5 hours. All right. Let's keep going. Joe Crazy. At first, I thought they meant surf, as in surf and turf. I'm kind of in the mood for grilled shrimp now. I mean, that's a great way to spell turf. So yeah.
If I get too autistic again, just reel me in.
There you go. No problem. I'll be blunt. How's that?
I'm really hungry now.
That's your brain working.
Oh my God. Taker 610. I am non-human. My pronouns are invader and Zim. Well, that's cool. As long as you know how to play the Doom song, I think we can all get along very well. Yeah. I actually had a buddy of mine who had the Doom song on his ringtone. It drove everyone insane at the office.
I had it as an alarm clock once.
It's all Doom.
It did help getting up out of bed.
Oh God, yeah, that would annoy the shit out of everyone. Holy crap! The Doom song. If you guys have never heard it,
I find
it's amazing. It's like 30 seconds of crazy.
I always find that if I enjoy the song or the music and I try and use it as an alarm, I just keep sleeping. It doesn't wake me up.
Really?
Just sleep straight through it.
Another sound. Yeah. I'll just keep. Really, that's interesting.
Well, like my alarm is it makes my phone gradually light up at the same time. as the music happens, which is quite a good way to like wake yourself up without necessarily having to have a bombastic noise or song.
All right. I mean, everyone's got their own methods of waking up. I recommend good times to go to bed, but you guys are crazy who live in the UK or Europe in general, and you want to come on to Smudcast. It's like, guys, it's kind of late for you. It's like, no, I'm good. Like, okay, sure, whatever.
I wouldn't get to sleep anyway. It's fine.
I can't sleep. Keep me up, Smud. Okay, fine.
I can also recommend the intro from Invader Zim. Great song.
Oh,
to get up to.
It's a fun show. Anyway, okay, this is from Tribaceous T. Hope I pronounced that right. The progressive view says that anyone can be any variation of things they feel like. The liberal view says it doesn't matter what you are, you're you. Oh.
Yeah.
On point.
Good difference.
The progressive view is you can be anything you want to be unless it offends them, at which point you've got to stop being that.
Oh. That's not nice.
That's the problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. We've talked for about 25 minutes. I think we get started with a video.
Yes.
Hello, and we've got to talk about William Shatner.
I'm already
and sadly
annoyed.
Not in the fun. Hey, he's that cool dude from that one episode of The Twilight Zone with that weird gremlin thing, and also some other show that I think people like to talk about sometimes. But sadly, we've got to talk about William Shatner in a more he's saying stuff on Twitter about trans issues kind of way. Oh, dear God, between him and J.K. Rowling, are all my childhood celebrities going to start ranting about trans stuff on Twitter? I mean,
God,
who's
I
next?
hope so.
Kermit the Frog? Look,
Yes.
we all know he's one
That's
drunk on
Sean
Twitter
Peterson.
ran away and saying the Rainbow Connection
There are
was
only
trans.
2 genders.
But in all seriousness, Star Trek and somehow Grammy-nominated star William Shatner
Instead of
recently went
humbling
online
herself,
to complain about the term
she was
cis,
proud of
the
her
shortened form of the
insufficiencies.
word cisgender, in a word which Shatner considers to be offensive. And obviously this upset
So
a lot of
do I.
transgender people and trans allies.
Okay, so here's a guy, old man, who doesn't like a certain word being used because it just means the thing. It's already a word that is used not in the appropriate light. So if you say I'm a male, it's not no you're a cis male. It's not like, what is that? Why do I have to add that extra step, that prefix to the word? What's the point?
It's just
because it takes you 45 minutes to explain what you think you are doesn't mean it has to take me longer. I am male. That's it. Fine. Done.
Yeah, people
Finished.
who don't have dysphoria have that. They don't. This thing is, you feel normal. You don't feel like you are a man or a woman. You just don't think about it. And this is one of the hooks where they get into people that, because you don't think about being a man or a woman, you must be trans. It's one of their hooks. And I think this word is outside of an academic paper where it has use because it's just easier language in there. Cis just means same side in chemistry, same side, and trans means opposite side. But outside of that, to refer to people who don't have dysphoria as cis is just another way to say healthy, and that sounds like you make healthy just another deviation. And that is what I find insulting about it.
It's one of those things that's just put into the sort of basket of what they see as the norm and the ruling class. You know, it's kind of it's one of those things that's used in a sort of commie gobbledygook kind of way, where it's sort of it's along with straight and white and male. It's all of these things which they see as these are historically oppressive and normal.
I'm going to be brutally honest here. The elite do not give a shit about your gender. They're just going, ha ha ha! Look at these fools who are fighting over these made-up words.
Yep. And
let's take all the money, and that's literally it.
And what they do in general, you lined that out very well, is they see normalcy as oppressive because it's the majority. And here they have found a word to label one aspect of normalcy as, here's a derogatory word, and we make it sound like it is something vile.
It's the same thing with heteronormativity, which is the idea that heterosexuality is good and is normal. And frankly speaking, it kind of is. Like it is normal, and yeah, it probably is in terms of life outcomes. I don't mean because gay people are oppressed. I mean, I think there's more reasons than that it probably is better to be straight. It probably is more beneficial to you to be straight. This isn't to say that it's a choice. This isn't any of that. It is just to say it's probably a worse outcome for you in a lot of ways. Like it would probably like I don't know if that's too far for some people, but I think that's pretty true, pretty accurate.
You can also see that in the light of that
Nazi,
they don't seem to like.
Meter's going off there.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. Carry on.
Yeah, you can also see this in the light. If you want to go that route, you can see this in the light of that these socialists at large do not like people procreating.
No.
Yeah, there's a lot of anti-natalist sentiment.
Which is a new word they're now using. Yes. So they're more open about it. They're becoming more honest about it. Because before, it was just another conspiracy theory. And now they're just openly attacking.
Oh yeah. You can definitely
these conspiracy theories keep coming true.
Yeah, you can definitely find. There's a lot of university academics that you can find here are just openly anti-natalist. They're just openly like you're just a bad person if you have children, and especially if you're white. There was an article where it was like.
Wasn't there an advert in the UK that the like billboards and posters saying for men to have vasectomies because they were telling white people not to have kids?
Yeah, I mean,
there's also an
that actually happened in the UK. They were telling white men not to have kids.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely. I remember there was an article about a woman saying like I feel guilty for I feel guilty for having children because they're white, and I'm contributing to white privilege and oppression by having white children.
These people are not well. Who say these sort of things? They're not well.
I mean, I'm
going to be honest about that.
They're mutants.
Yes, we are.
They're basically mutants, right? Because it's sort of post-industrial revolution. Life is very comfortable, right? So you can be really like in the modern day, in a Western like first world country, you can be way more of a dumbass than you were able to get away with being several hundred years ago. Because you would have fucking died because you're so incompetent. But now, all of these mutations that make you have sort of bad ideas, like maladaptive ideas, ideas that aren't good for the group as a whole, those people don't get weeded out by the harshness of living, right? Because
well, let's be honest. These people tried to make a place where they could live. It was called Chaz. They almost starved there.
Yeah, but
let's be brutally honest. These people, if you want to have a look at how bad these people are, they made a place where they thought it was a utopia. They nearly died. If it hadn't been for Domino's, if it hadn't been for Domino's delivering pizza, they would have starved to death.
Yeah, but for these types of parents, I would like to break a lance at least a little bit. As unwell as they are, I believe that they may not have been the best parents either way, but I believe if this ideology hadn't come around, they would at least not abuse their children that much. Because they wouldn't have had this thing to latch onto. They would just maybe be a bit neglectful or a bit helicopter parenty, but it wouldn't be this self-hatred of their own children.
Yeah, it baffles me as a father how you could have that sort of view of your kids. It just really baffles me. I think everything my son does is great, and he's an annoying little shit. So
you might be a father one, yeah.
Yeah, it's like he just does stuff. Like, he's fine.
Rip.
All right.
Oh no.
Jeez. We won't get into our biases just yet, but we have to hear how Jessie is biased in this regard. We don't know yet, but we'll find out. Maybe it's something to do with her gender. I don't know, but we'll find out. Joe Crazy. Kermit, it's not easy being a cis green male.
Yeah.
I missed all that. The Discord decided to kick me out because I said something nice about kids.
Probably.
Fine. I'll change it. Fucking kids, I hate them. Yeah, I stayed in.
No, Discord doesn't care about pedophilia, so it's only racism.
Neither does Twitter.
Yeah, it's like racism. Oh, how dare you!
And neither does Facebook.
Oh yeah, no, it's certain types of racism. You keep forgetting that. It's certain types of bad things. But anyway, sorry for this interrupting. Carry on.
All right.
I'm gonna keep drinking.
Oh, hey, that's a good idea. All right, so I didn't quite
You reminded
remember
me of something.
Sorry?
The same thing.
Oh, you're gonna keep drinking, yeah.
I just remembered I have a bottle of whiskey here.
Oh, well, don't let that
How could I
stop me.
forget that?
Go for it. All right. Not even a minute in. We're doing well. Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Allies, reasons which we'll get into. But I want to take a step back here because I feel like Shatner has stated support for trans people. He even did so in the Twitter thread in which he was talking about cisgender as a word. And I think a lot of his viewpoints on the word cisgender are actually surprisingly common. And I think come more from a place of ignorance, willful or not, and we'll get to that.
I hate that
rather
fucking
than
word.
Active hate. And also, I also think that this moment with William Shatner is representative of a consistent and larger issue that keeps cropping up with celebrities and those with big social platforms when they start tweeting and talking about trans issues online. And also how we as trans people and trans allies react to that.
With cancel culture.
Oh dear Lord, I'm a millionaire whose thoughts are read by millions of people online, and I'm free to tell anything that I want to in any book, but I'm being
disingenuous
trans
fucking
cultists on
hack.
Twitter. Okay.
You disingenuous fucking hack.
Yes.
Holy
Because
fucking
this,
shit, dude.
you think because you're punching up because this is a rich person, this is a famous person, it's okay to punch. That is very uncivil and very not liberal.
The fucking disingenuousness to frame it as, oh, it's just these millionaires. It's just these millionaires. Like, people, like in the UK, there are people who have had the police come round to their fucking house to question them about transphobic tweets.
Yeah.
Um,
you know? So
put up a sign saying it's okay to be white. Got people sent to prison.
Yeah, I mean it's just really dumb when you cancel these public figures that trickles down to the average person.
Yeah, right.
If someone that rich can get cancelled, what fucking chance do us at the bottom have?
Yeah, and the thing here is that this is done in the name of people with actual gender dysphoria who are suffering, who need medical help, and who do not give a shit about pronouns, who do not want people cancelled, who do not want any of this authoritarian, not liberal, authoritarian shit done in their name, and do not agree with this with this ideology. And this is I bet on that. This is what this person here, forgot the name, disagrees with Shatner, because Shatner is on the more grounded, realistic position, just as J.K. Rowling is, because she does care about people with actual gender dysphoria. She does not care about hacks.
Yeah,
it's just bizarre to me because like I feel like I'm in a fucking clown world. I'm in the fucking Twilight Zone where I'm defending J.K. Rowling.
Yes, yes, that is what I find so odd, because I was so annoyed by her for years, pandering by rewriting ever unmentioned parts of her books, of her world, just to pander to these people. And now I'm defending her because she has on this trans stuff. She has the reasonable position.
Yeah, I mean, it was that, and I think the whole thing with fucking Virtue singing about refugees. And about we should take in the fucking infinity refugees.
And she's like, yeah, but I've got no space.
But not in my house. Not in my house. Though.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like this is the same person that I now have to be like on the defense of, and it's just like.
And that's also the difference between. I'll just say it for simplicity's sake, between us and the SJWs, we disagree on singular points, singular issues with people. These people, however, when there is one thing that doesn't fit the dogma, or the current dogma, because the dogma keeps changing, they hate the person. I don't hate J.K. Rowling for being a hypocrite. I just think,
I care less.
Yeah, I just don't give a shit.
She's a hypocrite who wrote a shitty book series. That, in my view, that's all. That's it.
I can't even comment on that because I didn't read it. I was just dragged into some of the movies, and they were horrible.
Yeah, I did read them.
Hey, I like Wisp. I think we should have him on more often.
Yes.
Message coming in.
But in regards to the cancel culture thing, it always brings me back to think of it like the French Revolution. They cut the heads off of the royalty. They soon ended up cutting the heads off of the peasants. If they can do it to the top lot, then you can bet they'll do it to you even easier. So.
I'll tell you a secret. I'll tell you a secret about a socialist country.
Mm-hmm.
That was past the reunification. So when we were technically one big Germany again, not the super big evil Germany, but just the reunited Germany. In all my time in school, and that was into the mid-2000s, never, not once, was socialism ever a topic. Not once. It was completely omitted. All the atrocities. And that is how and why socialism has such an easy comeback in Germany that was wrecked by two types of socialism. The brown one, which of course we heard all the time. So we were inoculated against that. But the red socialism, never mentioned. So if you don't know about that, that atrocities and the dumbness of it, the kids are susceptible to it.
Yeah, but it's never about the socialism or the socialist aspects of the Nazis. And I also like the other thing with the Nazis is that it's always they make this arbitrary distinction between, well, it wasn't real socialism because it was a dictator, because socialism is supposed to be the people. It's supposed to be the workers running the economy, right? So because it had someone at the top who was not democratic, it wasn't democratically elected, or like it wasn't.
He was.
Well, yeah, I mean he was, but it wasn't like a democracy.
Twice,
as we know.
Twice he was democratically elected.
But that's the argument, you know. It's like the argument is, oh well, it wasn't really democratic. It's supposed to be the whole economy is supposed to be run democratically.
Yes and no. The problem is this discussion.
Well,
this topic is completely muddled by all their contradictory arguments and justifications about it. The thing is, communism is supposed to be that super democratic, everyone on the same level thing.
The reality,
but you
what
never
actually
get there.
matters, what actually
and
matters.
The socialism is always authoritarian.
But the important distinction is not between a democratically controlled economy and a non-democratically controlled economy. It's between like a planned economy and a market economy. Like that's the key difference that's actually important. Like it doesn't matter who's doing the planning. Trying to plan it from the top down is a bad idea regardless. It doesn't matter if you try to do it democratically. You're still trying to plan the economy instead of letting the market figure things out. You know, there's you can do some things. You know, there's time and a place for intervention, but you mostly you want to let the market do its job.
Yeah, in East Germany we had 3 years ahead planned economy. And that was already a disaster. But we had a very thriving black market economy.
Yeah.
Because that naturally just works. And it seems other species are also figuring out economy with currencies sometimes. Very unexpected species.
Yeah.
There were experiments with octopuses. I don't know the plural.
Octopi.
Little tiny cute krakens. And they figured out. They figured that out, and were hiding and stashing stuff.
Even some of the most basic life forms, like the Irish, have figured out economics.
Well, they could make whiskey that can hide from the taxes of the UK, and it ends up tasting good. I will take that as a win for the Irish. So.
Yeah,
always.
Didn't say it was a bad thing. I'm just saying,
okay.
Good for them. One more step up on the evolutionary ladder.
And before anyone falls for the idea that they're pushing now that white people invented money, and I've heard that one now.
Oh yeah.
After others, the more national socialists.
Is that white people invented money in a for white people kind of way, or white people invented money and look how evil white people are? They invented money.
It's the evil thing, and the capitalism is bad thing, and this is the reason why all socialists hate Jews, red and brown, and they all hunt them because they see them as the avatars of capitalism.
Well,
I have
reasons.
Wow,
a lot of different reasons.
We can
disliking Jews. There's a lot of
no, not me. I'm not saying that. It's just an observation because I see this in the brown socialism and the red socialism, but you don't see it as openly yet. You've seen it a little bit as they've. I
class it all as brown socialism because it's all shit. So,
one is constipation, the other is bloody diarrhea.
It comes like covered in blood, but it feels clean. Why does it feel clean?
Does it feel clean?
Because it was.
Anyway, William Shatner,
yes,
being a massive Chad on Twitter.
Okay. Yeah. Oh dear, I gotta go through
sorry, I wanted
still.
to notice that the Egyptians in the Old Kingdom already had credit cards, but that's a bit too far now.
The ancient Greeks, the Persians, all these people had a monetary system. They had to have some way. Once you go beyond barter, you have a system of money. There's there was tribes in northern India that had a money system. Aztecs had a money system. Incas had a money system. On and on and on.
Yeah.
So many different.
Yeah.
So many different.
It's a natural thing to develop because you need some fluid in between trade thing.
Mm-hmm. And also it allows whatever's type of leadership you've got to, control something. So they can pay their army.
But at least
it's not
money,
all volunteer and barter.
Money used to be actually based on real things, as opposed to
not necessarily. I love this. Because there's if you're interested in archaeology, there are great talks about discoveries on the Harvard YouTube channel. And for one thing, in the Old Kingdom, so the before the pyramids and all of that, they didn't just have credit cards or stamp cards with which to get the beer from the granary, which was the payment. They also had a housing bubble, but not about houses, about graves.
Coming in.
Because you needed to impress your neighbors that you had the better looking grave.
Yeah, graves are more important. Yeah.
Yeah, and it did implode, just like today, and it's thousands and thousands of years later, and we still do the same shit.
Yeah. You will be surprised what you learn from history of things. It is just there's one story about a tribe in Central America that was so advanced with stuff with money, and they think they were close to making the first actual numbers we had, like the Arabic numbers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But they got wiped out by a flood. But there was loads of things. They were really quite advanced for their time.
Nice.
With stuff. I'll try and find it another day.
Okay, let's actually get back to the video.
If you do,
let's get back to
it. All right.
Oh yeah, I will do. Yeah, I will do. Yeah. I love history.
I'd say the TLDR of what we just discussed is all of this has happened before. All of this will happen again.
Yeah.
There is nothing new under the sun.
Yeah.
Okay.
But under the ground, is the tagline for Tremors. Anyway, carry on.
Oh dear. Punished Berserker. Thank you, sir. Oi, bruv. Dead, you know. Oi, was he dead? Yeah, no leads. Oh my god, I can't do this accent. To know. Oh my, dead.
Needs to know.
Patching it through.
Oi, my dad, innit?
Okay.
It's someone.
I think he's taking the piss out of you, Hawk.
Yeah, that's just Bear. He's always doing that. That's okay. That's just
Bears. Yeah, Bears always. He doesn't understand there's a difference between British accents. He just does a really angry Dick Van Dyke.
Oi, mate.
He's a Dick Van Dyke.
Oi, mate.
Mary Poppins.
You got a license for that child.
You got a license for that, Fatherhood.
Oh dear. All right, let's try and keep going with the super chats. We'll get back to the video soon. Tickleson, thank you. If humans didn't evolve to the point where we could save the less fortunate from the wrath of natural selection and the gene pool, would DSP be dead because he's really stupid or alive because he's DSP? Oh boy. We're talking about DSP, the way that we have compassion for those who are weaker than us or less intelligent, or
dark side Phil.
Yes, dark side Phil. Yes.
Oh right, okay. Yeah. I don't know.
You don't know dark side Phil? Wow.
He's notoriously bad at video games
and life.
Right? Isn't that what he's known for?
That's probably why I don't know him, since I don't talk to those pathetic vermin.
Well, the idea is that we are because we have evolved past our certain necessities, we can then have wealth. And we can use this wealth to help others, but in the form of donations or whatever the devil. However DSP gets by, I have no idea. So,
But in olden days, we used to take care of the elderly and the ill in tribes and in cities. We didn't just cast them out.
Yeah, but we don't actually see DSP as the mentally ill. We see him as a clown. So
yeah,
it's just the circus.
We're not like the Eskimos, where we just send our elderly and retarded out into the snowy wastelands.
Okay.
And with the Mongols, it's that if you can't make it to dinner, then you don't deserve dinner.
Yeah.
So if you can't get up, if you're too old to get up to get your food, then you don't get food.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think we should do more like the Eskimos or the Inuits, whichever one you want to call it. Just send people, who are no longer good to society into the snowy wilderness.
The fucking furry hood snow people. I don't know.
I just think kids should get a month in the wilds and get some survival instructions, and then see you in a month, and then you'll be a bit more grounded.
You will fix a lot of. Actually, there's a girl I dated a while back, and she said she spent 2 weeks in the forest because she was so wild. Her parents didn't know what to do. And after that, she smartened right up, and it was kind of a funny story. It's like she seemed so mature to me, and I'm like, really, you went through that? Like, wow. Now, most people, I don't know, we go camping when you're kids. I was part of a bunch of youth programs so that we have beavers and cubs and Boy Scouts and what have you here.
Scouts on the.
Yeah, no, it was great. I mean, you really you were going to freeze to death. You better. Prepare.
Yeah, be homeless in winter. It really, really makes you grow up.
Yeah. Canada's good for that. Anyway.
I don't advise it, though.
No, well, I got my share of frostbite multiple times, so you think I'd learn the first time. But...
Smud got all his badges. It was perfectly fine. It was worth it in the end.
You have no
I was
idea.
smart enough to take some blankets with me, but...
I have so many badges, you don't believe it. I'm actually serious about that.
I'm inundated with badges. He wades through a waist-high load of badges every morning
I did get lucky, but it still made me appreciate the very, very mundane luxuries of modern life a lot.
Oh God, yeah.
Yes.
Like heaters,
like
toilets,
clean water.
Water, yes, roofs. Amazing stuff.
Double glazing.
Double glazing on donuts.
double glazed windows.
Oh, donut.
Yeah. Once you sleep somewhere that hasn't got double glazing windows, you pray to the
message coming in.
The window gods.
Yeah, you don't realize it until you don't have it. And it's like, oh god damn.
All right. Hussars Ve, thank you for the many, not the Jew. Labor. Is that a reference to something I've missed?
Yeah, it's a play on
what the fuck? I love Labour now.
Their election slogan was "For the many, not the few," and then it turned out the many didn't include Jews or white straight males or white straight females or white people in general. It really started to get narrowed down to for the radical socialist, not the rest of the country.
Message coming in
for the gay radicals, unemployed socialist.
Yes.
Yeah, so you can call me a little bit biased, but it generally socialist policy and slogans usually make sense when you invert them.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh yes. Labor's gone. Labour is not a party you should waste your time voting for.
Just anytime they say something, make a negative out of it, and then it makes sense. Then it makes sense what they're actually doing.
They want to rename the British Army the Department of Ending Life Team or something.
Are you real?
Yeah, they want to rename it because Army is too aggressive.
To make it something disgusting so that nobody joins?
Yeah, like
to make it more inclusive.
The Imperial Murderers of the Queen.
Time team that maybe kills people sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Oh god.
Yay, Britain. We owned a quarter of the world at one point. Yay.
Well, if you own a quarter of the world, you're going to get all the crazies.
Slavery.
Yay. Oh, what a mistake to make. Jeez. At the end of it.
Alrighty. Tickleson, thanks again. The amount of time you spend living is less than the amount of time you spend being dead. +1. What? +1?
Really, what they should have done at the end of the American Civil War is sold all the slaves to somewhere else and then make them free the slaves over there.
Well, I think
that's
like the North
probably like 4D chess.
Yeah, I know, but
what was the country that they set up? Liberia, wasn't it?
Liberia.
They set them up. So the slaves went there, turned into tribal nut jobs, killed everybody, and the Americans had to go in and take control to stabilize it.
I mean, the idea was on paper. The idea was okay. Like, send them back to their homeland, so that they can live in their homeland way and everything.
Message coming in.
But they actually set up a country for them, as in like, here, if you want to leave, you can go here. We will set you up. We will make sure you're okay. And it literally was pretty much burning to the ground less than 5 years later.
I think it was also the case of the biggest voter fraud ever committed.
Oh yeah, I mean, and also Liberia
5 times more votes for the winning guy than there were people able to vote.
Oh, alive, yeah.
And Liberia is like pretty much explicitly black nationalist country. Like it's in its constitution that it's a country for. I think it literally says like the Negro people. It is a country exclusively for the Negro people.
Yes.
That's in its constitution. So.
Which is understandable when it was meant to be for freed slaves and their families.
They literally but it was people. It was colored people originally, but they made it explicitly Negro to make it specifically blacks and not other things. So it was
a common term back then, and I think even Martin Luther King Jr. Still used the term, so it's not.
I feel like colored's weird though because it doesn't it's not really used for just black people,
What is just black? What is just black people? Because they keep lumping everything into that, depending on how the stars are aligned.
Well, they'll include North Africans if they want to sort of mooch off their sort of their clique.
When a progressive says black, they mean sub-Saharan.
It can. Well, no.
Yeah,
it can mean
someone
not
from India.
if they want to include them all. If they want to include the achievements of North Africans, right? They'll.
But what I mean is when they first say it without going to specifics, what they mean is sub-Saharan.
That's what everyone means when they say black, right? So.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the thing with Harris.
Okay, yeah, right.
William Shatner, because we could easily go on for like 3 or 4 hours about this.
All right.
Because there's so much stuff in it.
I'm getting
Shatner.
I'm getting convinced they have a standing bet to see how little they can actually talk about the video.
All right, let's stop. Let me get through these super chats. We got to get back to the video.
Yes.
Kyle Rocket, she met Slenderman, and he fixed her right up. Oh my, that's not nice. Jeez. I mean that in a violent, deadly kind of way, not the, helping out kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
All right, jeez. Alex Halo, we all know a stillful, the trap is superior. I don't know exactly what you're referring to.
I think it's from Fate.
Oh yeah, no, I know the series.
Another Fate character.
Oh, Fate Apocalyptica. Yeah, I know, but
okay.
in regards to what context, I couldn't tell you. Joe Crazy, the UK Peace Corps. Really? The UK Peace Corps. A bunch of soldiers. Okay. Interesting.
Yes, we're all about peacefully taking land.
War's peace.
Best. All right. Let's get back to the video, finally.
J.K. Rowling joke. Since talking about trans issues in a Star Trek context is basically my specific form of chocolate and peanut butter coming together, I figured it's a good time to revisit the term cisgender and talk about why it's so contentious and dispel some of the common misconceptions about the term.
Sorry, I just when she mentioned Star Trek, it just in a world as advanced as Star Trek, especially after what they did in DS9 and Voyager, there would be no such thing as trans left. The people would just, if they wanted to change sex, they would just do it. Completely biological, because apparently they can turn people into lizards and back with no mental problems at all. And turn people from species to species. And that wouldn't be as advanced as that society is. This condition would be solved.
Yeah, I do have to laugh at the fact that Star Trek has had to make Star Trek more primitive just to allow trans issues into it. As in, they've had to take like 10 steps back in everything.
Was that in the
just
STD
to allow
show? Because I haven't watched that. I refuse to watch that.
Even with Picard, everything's had to take like 10 steps, well, nearly 100 steps back with everything. Just to fit in this progressive. Star Trek was so progressive, the progressives had to dial back the progressiveness just to fit in their stuff.
It's not an outlook on a better future anymore, where problems are solved and things are better.
Yeah. That's my problem with Star Trek, is that I'm just so pessimistic that I just can't take it seriously.
No. Star Trek, the Star Trek, the way it was, as it ended with all the way through Voyager with DS9, was this is fine, this is perfectly fine, and it's progressive, there's no problems. The progressives went, no, this is too perfect, let's dial it back so we can at least have something to bitch about. I'm like, wow, you can't even have a utopia. You're not even happy with, and your actual utopia where everyone's treated equally is not good enough for you. You've got to have something to complain about.
Yeah, you want a better future with the awesome technology to still have the Stone Age problems that we have.
Mm-hmm.
So it. Why?
They had to, like, with drug use and smoking and all this sort of stuff. It was like all this was supposedly like dealt with. No, we've got to bring it back. Why? So we've got something to moan about. Yeah, but it's all gone.
The Orwell solved that way better.
Yeah. Picard, Star Trek Picard, like I say, I watched a few episodes. It feels like it's not set in the Star Trek universe, and B, if it was, it should have been set 200 years before even fucking Captain Kirk, to be honest with you, with the problems that they're going through. It's fucking ridiculous. Oh, anyway, that's just me being angry at Star Trek.
I just needed to get into the Star Trek point because I keep hearing this, and then the SJWs never think about it.
Yeah, very few people on the panel, let alone in the chat, have actually watched Discovery and a bunch of other new Star Trek shows. They are not very reminiscent of what we remember.
Yeah, I did watch some of the reviews from the Obvious People, and I couldn't watch that whole thing alone. I wouldn't need alcohol and friends for that.
Yeah.
On that note, I think the same thing about the Mass Effect universe. That's advanced enough to have solved gender dysphoria. And why I'll be honest, I've insert negative words here. That character in Andromeda, no one with the actual condition would behave that way. No one.
No.
Of course, there is sort of still a theoretical element to it, which is the question of, because we live in an imperfect world where you can't actually like completely change someone's entire body at the molecular level to be the gender that they want to be.
Yeah, but about that character, it
would be, even if you could, would that actually fix all of the issues? Would that actually completely fix the issues in their brain? Would that actually satisfy the psychological itch?
Yeah, if that thing I described, this full body phantom limb thing, that goes down from the hormones alone. Problem is, and that fits with a lot of the people who have this condition, they have more traditionally female personalities and interests. Like, they're more like nest builders instead of the hunter warriors, if you will. And but and so you can fulfill your biological functions that you kind of would like to, because you still want to be a parent. Because the real trannies, they do want families, but they can't really have them. The SJWs, they don't want kids in the first place, or oftentimes, or the Spice Kids, or want to transition them as well, and it's just weird. But this character in Andromeda, you actually manage to transition your fucking body, go on a basically suicide mission, traveling for centuries, cryogenically frozen to another galaxy, not just another planet, another galaxy, to restart your life, and you have your working body, and then the first thing you do when you meet the main character is you, out of the blue, you tell them, oh, by the way, I was a man. Why would you do that? Because this character didn't have the actual condition. If you had the actual condition, you would tell us if you had regret. If you had the actual condition, you would be happy and you wouldn't want anyone to know, because you just want this happy new life. And you feel well.
Yeah. No, I agree.
There are various...
SJWs can't write trans characters. That is what a video should be.
Well, let's just say in general, most people can't write these characters due to the lack of understanding. But to just ham-fist everything in... that was not even a sub. That's the random NPC you encounter, and to do that with the story or the lore is just...
write is not actual trans characters. What they write, because you couldn't, because the real trans character wouldn't tell you, unless you're getting into a romantic
thing. Abrahams, weren't it? Abrahams or something.
I forgot the name. I
don't care. I really honestly don't give a shit. My face is tired, so...
There were so many lazy attempts at storytelling and, well, quality in general in Andromeda. So you could look to the writing team, you could look to the animations, the time frame they had, the schedule or lack thereof. There were so many issues that we could point to of why Andromeda was so bad.
It's a great example of how they do not write what actually is, but just their personal understanding of the issue, and the personal understanding of the issue within social justice circles is this narcissistic role-playing of trans. And that is what is reflected in this character.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I'm just going to refer to Wisp on everything here. But yeah, that's my view. That's my view of it as well.
Yeah. Okay. I think we've exhausted the idea of science fiction, or rather stories that have science fiction in them, with certain trans characters that don't quite fit. So let's get back to the video.
And then circle back to William Shatner specifically in order to use him as an example of a larger issue when it comes to notable people with large social platforms and presences addressing transgender issues and how we react to them. I know, trying to have a constructive conversation on social media, that's an incredibly high bar, but let's give it a go.
Well, that point was correct.
Let's start with Shatner's tweets themselves to see where we're starting at here. Some need labels and categories to separate people in order to harass or debase them. The only time cis is used when referring to me is in that way. Weird shrug emoji. Do we need these labels in order to communicate? No. So those that use them when describing others are doing it for neg reasons. I see the cis label debate is still going on 2 days later. I notice people saying they've never seen it used in a neg way. That seems to be the predominant way it's used on social media, along with words like white and old, and it's not just about men. I still find it offensive. So because I asked that you not label me with a term that has been used against me as a hate term, that means I'm transphobic? Question emoji. Do you think the issue may actually lie with you needing to label people, which is a form of harassment? Labeling me doesn't define you define you. Cis is being used as hate term. I don't know what rock you've been living under, dear, but take the blinders off.
I think we get the idea.
So stop labeling people because you don't understand what they are saying. The minute you try to talk to them, I added that part, they adopt victimhood and try to argue what they need it to define racism and white privilege. Racism has existed for thousands of years across many different skin colors. It's not just white against everyone else. Whoo, boy. There's a...
Yeah, Mr. Shatner, I raise my glass to you.
Yeah, nothing you said was wrong.
Yeah, it was perfect. You get training support, and on top of that, a lot of the tweets you replied to, quoted, were not unavailable. And it's very nice of this person to include that in the cutout. A lot of the quotes you replied to were already deleted or something.
Yeah, already. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is like a series of tweets he did months ago, and they sounded just fine in general to most people, but because of the SJW response and all the people that didn't like that, because he didn't use certain terms that they were using for, I think, a reasonable statement. I don't want to use these terms. This is not defining me, and you're using them negatively. So please don't talk to me that way. That's a reasonable request. If they can request and ask for pronouns, he can request actual words. I think that's pretty fair.
But here's the thing. Shatner's there gone, please don't refer to me as a cisgendered. It's classed as harassment. And they're like, no, we're going to call you what you want. If I started calling this person something they didn't want to be called, they'd soon ask me to stop. So why should I stop and why should they carry on? So what they're saying is, our harassment is okay, but your harassment is not. That's literally what it boils down to. We're allowed to call you whatever we want, and you've got to accept it. But you have to call us what we want. Wow, yeah, they are narcissistic. Yeah,
that is
they are very narcissistic.
Juvenile. That is infantile. And that is the core of narcissism, which is unequivocally, I hope that's the right word, tyrannical and despotic.
Yes, yeah, those are the right words. Yep.
Yeah, and the rest of
all he was saying was, "Don't call me cisgendered," and everyone just went up and obviously Twitter is just full of idiots anyway. I know I'm one of them.
And here's the point: why do you dare call me something when you don't know whether I have the condition? Because I have no obligation to tell you whether I have them. Maybe I had it all my life and just chucked it down because I was strong enough and it didn't eat me away completely because I had enough support in my life or something. And so maybe I understand the pain of the actual condition, but I have no need to tell you. I have no need to tell you of that.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a personal story about that.
But I swear to God, if they're literally going to say it's okay to call everyone, you know, these people cisgender because that's what they are, when, you know, we're all about, let's be honest here, we're all about making up what we want to be called, because they are now. I mean, you've got people claiming they're a Russian maid from 1812 and that's their gender, for fuck's sake. You know, trust me, there is...
That's closer to the old Napoleon complex.
Yeah. The idea that you were reborn.
I can understand why it was conflated with gender dysphoria for a long time, because they seem similar on many levels.
Has anyone actually read the list of the different types of genders?
I stopped when it went to, I think, 70 or something.
Really? Was
probably at 108 samurai by now.
I thought it was at 40.
I think there was 247 different genders.
Oh my god! Oh my god! And they all have squiggly little incognito signs.
Yeah. And there's loads of things. I try to get through it, but my sides just could not take it after about 174 because I was just like, no, this is just, we are getting into fucking, you're just making things up here, aren't you? You can't be this.
When it was at 50 or 70, that's already enough. When I was with friends and their acquaintances at birthday parties, for example, and for obvious reasons, we got into the topic. And the fun bit is, for a little bit of context, I mentioned this a little bit. I'm sorry about my voice. I never got to voice training. I'm too sick for it. Sadly, I'm stuck mid-transition. If you see me on camera, there have been very nice other anti-SJW YouTubers that are allegedly transphobic who've told me after they saw me that they can't think of me as male anymore, which is a very nice compliment that you don't need to believe at all. Point being, I'm at these for example, these social gatherings, and it almost every time it turned out that some SJW is trying to explain the trans stuff to me, and I, the one with the actual condition, who is transitioning, who did benefit from the hormone treatment, takes the anti-SJW position. And there are always some people who just watch that and try to not laugh because the situation is so surreal to them. And I get the audience, and sometimes even the SJW, wants to tell them about all these genders that people can have, to tell them, have you ever looked up the list? And I tell them about Borg gender. So which, if you don't know what a Borg is, it's a swamp. And I start with astral gender, and then I go to Borg gender, and then I say, that's not a thing, that can't be right. It's you making that up. And I said, look it up, and then I find the list. And for the first time, they never looked up this fucking list. For the first time, they look up the list, and they start laughing uncontrollably because it's you can't. Well, someone did make that up.
It gets into utter delusions as you go further on because they start confusing gender and sexuality.
Yeah, they confuse everything. Sexual orientation.
I mean, you've got, what was it, semi-bisexual? Right? Honestly, semi-bisexual is where you're only attracted to the person of the opposite sex, but you're bisexual.
What? So you're not bisexual then?
So you're not bisexual. But that's what it is.
But even sexuality is a problem because even it's in the word, right? So they'll try to tell you that it's not gay to suck a penis as long as it's a woman's penis. You know, it's not homosexual to. No, you don't understand. It's a woman's penis. You know. It's
I'm not buying that.
Absurd, you know. The thing is, the etymology of the word
press an X to doubt here.
The etymology of the word is not based on the gender identity; it's based on the sex. It's homosexuality. It's same is from homosexuality, so it's based on the sex that you find attractive, right? It's not based on what they identify as.
Yes, and this is the thing about the identity problem, because identity technically is something you can choose, something you can make up, something you can place, something you can wear as a costume, something you can act on a stage. These people have no personality. Personality is something that you simply are, and they do not develop it.
This might be only something that I've dealt with in my varied history, but you know when people come to me and say gayness is not a choice, right? You can't choose sexuality. Why is it when if I turn down, I've turned down a gay guy once. He goes, "Well, have you ever tried it? How do you know?" I'm like, "It's not a choice. I know."
Yeah, it's like you don't. It's not. It doesn't work.
Why is it only a choice for Why is it supposedly a choice for me now when it's not supposedly not a choice for other people? Why is it? No. Back off.
I've encountered different types of gay people, and there seems to be a similar thing with the trans and the SJW weird.
I've seen so many times, so many examples of trans people like basically trying to essentially blackmail people, and like you're a bad person if you don't date me just because I have a penis. Oh, it's just a penis.
Yeah, and I tell you, there's the gay people that you don't notice, who blend in, who seem normal, who are not flamboyant at all. They don't do these types of things. And then you have a subset.
I've got.
Then you have a subset of in the gay culture. I'm call it community. I don't think it is that, because I think communities are usually working together, and these things aren't doing that. Like the trans community, that isn't a thing. But
no, they hate each other.
Well,
but what I wanted to get at is that there is a subset in the gay culture that is, and it's not all of the flamboyants, but a lot of them. And I always hope to find an exception when I meet one. I am too often disappointed. With them, it is an absolute lack of empathy and sometimes remorse, which indicates narcissism, if not antisocial behavior. And these people are solely driven by their impulses. They are obsessed with sex. They cannot have normal relationships. Like with philia, they are just driven by eros, sexual love. And because they're just obsessed with themselves, they of course try to push you in an abusive manner into having sex with them. So anything that hurts them is bad, and everything they can get from you is good.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing is I'm a stubborn bastard anyway. So if I say no, I mean no.
And the SJW self-proclaimed trans are the same as these psychopathic gays. They push onto you that you have to have sex with me, and otherwise you are a bad person.
See,
have you tried it?
People can't blackmail me. The worst that these people can do is not the worst that I've ever lived through. So I'm like, no, not a chance.
Yeah. If you got psychological abuse in your childhood, they may have a better chance at blackmailing you into stuff because that destroys your defenses. But otherwise,
my parents love me, so tough shit.
Oh boy, let's get back on track, folks. Thanks for the little story.
Yeah, sorry.
It's okay. No, this is all fine. We got to get to eventually to Jesse Jenner's point here, but we're still.
Sometimes you don't want to look through the keyhole.
So Kyle Rocket, thank you. I heard no lies, mortal. What is the problem? Is that a reference I miss again? What is that?
He's talking. I don't know, but he's talking about
Shatner's tweets.
Shatner's tweets.
Oh.
Yeah, Shatner said what everything that Shatner said was perfectly fine. There was nothing transphobic about that.
Yeah.
The fact that anyone's thought there's transphobia there means they were looking for it to begin with, and that's on them, not on William Shatner. So.
Okay.
And
it's by the SJW definition of transphobia, not by anything realistic.
Yeah, the SJW definition of transphobia is any word spoken by a white straight male.
Basically. Yeah. If you disagree with me, you are transphobic, which is why they call actual trannies transphobic when they don't agree with them.
It's internalized transphobia.
You get your trans card revoked.
Being a white straight person.
Yeah, well, it's the same.
Automatically means you're transphobic in their eyes because you're not there.
And I forgot which case this was, but they do this with gay people, and then the person wasn't gay anymore, but just a man who sleeps with other men.
I've heard a few times gay men are the straight white men of the LGBT community.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That is
really
a phrase I've heard before.
There was a time where they already went for black men at some point. They will get back to that eventually.
I think what was the other thing I heard said about? I think it was like a white gay man. It was homonormativity, which is the
homonormativity.
Homonormativity is the idea that gay
because it's not trans
men that gay men specifically who aren't any other they aren't questioning their gender at all, and they're just gay men, right? And they're not flamboyant. So that's homonormativity, because it's influenced by the norms of heterosexual men, and that they're not flamboyant enough, and that queerness is about being transgressive to the norms of heterosexual society, and because these gay men don't do that, that's homonormativity, and you're implying that that's better than being a flamboyant gay who wears a fucking dildo crown.
Yeah, because originally the whole movement was about being normal and look at us, we're normal people, and now it's who is the bigger peacock.
All we want is equal rights to marriage. Don't worry, you won't go any further than that. Now we're fighting against each other over who's the biggest pufter.
Yeah, but it doesn't stop there. They're already at the next stage where homosexuals are bad, especially with lesbians. They do that because they are because it's mainly lesbians rejecting the trans dick. Homosexuals are enforcing the gender binary, and therefore they are problematic.
Yeah.
What world have I brought my son into? Jesus Christ! This is just a fucking.
It's Cuck Island on Clown World.
Yeah, but
you have to take a stand in.
He's gonna be like the only Chad left in his year group.
Oh, be very wary about the whatever kindergarten or school you send him to, because in public school this stuff will be on the curriculum in first grade.
I've had a look around. Don't worry, I'm planning.
All right, let's keep going, gentlemen.
Planned out.
Oi. Okay, Nicholson. Tickleson. So the people who don't want to be categorized want to categorize people. That's they categorize, but you're only allowed to use their categorization. You can't use your own. So.
And if you don't like their category,
you are the thing, but you can't tell me what I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can tell you what you are, but you can't tell us what we are.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
Okay.
It's a power grab. Mm-hmm. They want to have power over you, and they think by telling you what you are, they hold some sort of power. The best thing to go is just time to fuck off and piss off. You have no power here, tranny or white.
Sadly, they're creeping into politics and every other place, and so looking the other way got us where we are now.
Mm-hmm.
Because nobody wanted to listen when we said, look, there's these weirdos, we should say something against that. But instead, we were always told that, it's just a few nonsense people on the side, don't worry. And look where we are now. And when it's a Nazi in some corner, it's just, oh my God, there's one of them! We need to get the National Guard!
And in reality,
we should do that with
some Scottish guy with a pug, and that's it. That's their definition of a Nazi.
Yeah, if we get the National Guard for one neo-Nazi, we should get them for red socialists as well.
Yeah.
Equal treatment.
Yeah.
Yeah, they still have Mao Zedong on the dollar.
I'm fine with the jackboot going up different people's arses. That's totally fun. Some might even enjoy it. You never know.
There's plenty of reasons why Nazism has been vilified and communism has not, even though there's just enough reasons for anything related to communism.
How many times has Captain America punched Stalin in the face?
We need more of those comic books, apparently. But
yeah, we need more of those. But you can easily point to Captain America punching Hitler in the face, though.
Oh yeah,
but But the only reason Captain America punched Hitler in the face is because he's actually a metaphor for a golem, and that's why he has the A on his head. And
no, God, no, please,
no. We're gonna cut that rabbit hole. William Shatner, engage.
Let's go.
Smart. What was your?
Sorry,
I wanted to know your reasoning for why the red socialists haven't been reprimanded.
You're talking about the Chinese and the
because McCarthy was right. That's the
Western world.
The Chinese weren't a thing during the Soviet Union, at least not relevant.
Right. So we're talking about Eastern Europe, Russia, Vietnam, what other areas where we can look to Nazism and see, well, they did specific forms of genocide, which are all universally bad. We know exactly what they represented. So most of the things that they did were easy to identify, whereas communists, like they loved Stalin. They loved, like they still have Mao Zedong on their money in China. So
they also did specific genocides. Stalin had his own Jew extermination program. They just scrapped it after he was dead because it was too expensive.
Right. But they weren't.
Che Guevara killed about 30,000 gay people because they were gay, and now his picture is on rainbow flags. And
yeah, I know, but they weren't publicly admonished as well from the same country. So you see that with Germany. You see that with parts of Greece and things like that when they were getting out of their infancy. So it's a combination of public discourse that hasn't been accepted.
What I said about the education here.
Also, Che Guevara was smart enough to like get a T-shirt line.
Well, that's another issue entirely. Yeah,
so socialism got ahead because it was omitted in education way too much. It was overshadowed by the National Socialism. And the other thing is, in Eastern Europe, you see some countries were inoculated by having been under socialist rule. All countries where socialism still has a chance, a real chance, are almost exclusively countries that haven't been under socialist rule before.
A lot of Western European countries that were never behind the Iron Curtain, you tend to find.
Yeah. And that's partly because the activists kept it.
The thing is,
you can still see you can still see where the Iron Curtain was in Europe by their views on socialism. It's amazing.
Yeah, we could have
something simply like that.
We could have a lot of discussions about why it's not alienated properly, but let's just get back to whatever Jesse's trying to.
To William. So this is the thing. There's so much more interesting things to talk about than William Shatner said.
I know
something not actually really that bad on Twitter.
The strange thing is that in the greater context, this shit is all connected, like some weird schizophrenic, paranoid.
You have all these. You have all these red lines going all these red threads connecting everywhere, and you just can't make the connection. And then you step back and you see that the red threads are making the Star of David on your notice board. And you're like, All
I can imagine on these SJWs like notice boards is somehow like Dollface there in like full SS uniform doing a salute. And it's like somehow the Irish are involved. Just
there's another potato famine.
All this the way the rainbow stuff and the strands is now warped. That is one head of this Hydra. This is the actual Hydra that Captain America should be fighting.
I will never forgive the French. That's.
I'm with you there.
I just can't. I mean, they made Ubisoft, and that alone. That alone is just unforgivable.
Jeez, just read Bastiat and then call it a night if you can't handle the French. Okay, that's easy read, 20 pages or whatever it is. You're good. Anyway,
if you just reread anything about Agincourt, you'll be fine. If you can't stand the French.
you could speculate about Voltaire if you don't want to talk about art. That's fine, but Bastiat's all you need. Anyway, we're at 4 minutes.
Anyway,
let's keep going.
William Shatner.
William Shatner.
One, obviously. So, like I said, let's start with the basics here to talk about the word cisgender and what it even means. Well, the word cis comes from the Latin for this side of. Oh yeah, I'm getting you some Latin etymology up in here because, god dang it, I'm a nerd. But today, the word cisgender is defined as, quote, denoting a person whose sense of personal identity and gender corresponds with their gender assigned at birth. Simple,
oh god,
right?
Stop. Oh, sorry.
Assigned at birth.
We just skipped backwards. Oh my god!
Sorry, I didn't hit the thing.
I'm going to open another beer while you get that all sorted out.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to hit pause. Can you get to that definition?
Whoa!
Patching it through.
I'll get to it.
Forward.
There's a lot to unpack there, especially that last one, obviously. So, like I said, let's start with the basics here, talk about the word cisgender and what it even means. Well, the word cis comes from the Latin for this side of. Oh yeah, I'm getting you some Latin etymology up in here because, god dang it, I'm a nerd. But today, the word cisgender is defined as, quote, denoting a...
There you go.
So, thank you. Sorry.
You will
to use
be.
SJW lingo, this definition is problematic. For one, the first part is just the same as before. It's just everything is on one side of the thing. That's fine. Then, 20 years ago, the word cis had a different origin in the social justice circles, where they made a musical analogy. I'm not getting into that because it's really stupid. The second part is
chemistry. I just know cis from chemistry.
Yeah, that they found that later on, and it makes more sense. The thing is here, this whole thing, gender is assigned at birth. That first off, you do not assign gender at birth. You assign sex at birth.
Secondly,
you don't.
It's not even assigned. It's just described.
That's the second thing I wanted to get at. It's
described at birth.
Yeah, it's not. Well, the correct term would be assessed.
Yeah,
it's what you do in physiotherapy as well. When you look at the patient and look at, this is askew, this joint is weird. Let's do stuff. That's an assessment. It's not a diagnosis. It's just that looks like that, somehow probably right. And in case of sex, biological sex, as we know, in over 99%, way over 99% cases, we are correct on that, and we cannot predict
what it is.
We cannot predict whether a kid is going to develop gender dysphoria. So it's completely fine to just say, it has a penis, so it's probably a boy. It has the other thing, probably a girl. End of story.
Yeah.
If we find some weird cardiotype, then we can say, okay, it's probably some
even in the case where something weird happens and there's some intersex condition.
Right.
Like I can't think of a single example. I don't even know if there is an example where they actually have both sets of genitalia and they both work.
Yeah, that doesn't exist. That would be an actual hermaphrodite. That would be an actual hermaphrodite, and those do not exist in the human species. If there ever had been one, we would have science talking about it all the time, and we especially would have these social justice warriors talk about that one case all the time to justify this thing.
So even among the intersex people, it's not necessarily obvious that would have anything to do with gender dysphoria
or sex. They're either male or female biological sex. Your sex is defined by the gametes you produce, so your sperm or your eggs. There's no case where someone produces both, is fertile on both. Just doesn't happen.
Okay.
So someone who could impregnate someone and could get pregnant.
Right.
And that just doesn't happen.
I'm just saying, I've just got my son's birth certificate out. This is from 2019. Sex, male. There's nothing about gender.
Oh, nice.
So it's just,
It's actually good. And I personally, I do not why in the US it happened that I replaced sex with gender on the IDs. I believe that is probably, someone please correct me on that. My guess is that this is due to some puritanical thing because the word sex is dirty and people don't want to say it. And that's why the word gender has an easy way to get into the language. That's just my guess. They don't want to say dirty words, so they use other words.
Maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe.
I couldn't tell you.
So otherwise, scientifically, I have no explanation why you would use the wrong word. Because if we use the SJW definition of gender, that you cannot assess at all. That's impossible.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Cool. Let's continue on. Taker 610, thank you. Psychopathic gays are the best thing from this stream. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Always nice to.
We try our best to give you one bit of entertainment.
Okay.
I hope this won't be cancelled because of that.
No, I think that's.
You're fine.
Totally fine.
Dollface here. Come on, he's been on numerous Smudcasts. We've not been cancelled yet.
Message coming in.
Here's Jake the Surgeon.
And I'm happy I make someone's evening better.
Yeah.
I tried so hard, it's not cancelled yet. I don't understand.
Yeah. There has to be some kind of final solution to the French. It's called Take Away the Wine.
Dollface is just transphobic. No, it's not got a ring to it.
The word is based. The word is based.
So
like my little meme.
So the only way to destroy the French is have them destroy themselves. So that's pretty much... Okay.
Define based training.
By the way, Dollface, yes, I love your meme. It's great. But babe, having a tiny dick isn't that bad. Yeah,
I don't know,
Jenny.
I kind of wish you didn't have one at all.
I prefer you didn't have one at all.
All right, let's keep going. Joe Crazy. Wasn't it a French studio that made Life is Strange? That's correct. It's called Don't Nod. It's a palindrome. I guess that's another strike against them. The French aren't all bad. They make some crazy things. That's kind of the
French
point.
Is into that weeb shit anyway, so it's fine.
The weeb shit.
Fucking...
It's all weeb shit.
More proof of the German stereotype of the French. They have no culture.
No, we don't have any culture.
You have
just there to be beaten in war.
It would be better if they had no culture, because now they're stuck with French culture, which is like...
Patching it through.
Yeah,
you have baked beans, whiskey, and scotch. What more do you need?
Well, it's baked. It's baked beans, not bacon. It sounds like bacon. Bacon beans.
No, he meant to say beer cans.
And bacon.
Beer can.
Sounds good.
Not bacon. Beer can.
Beer and bacon.
It
sounds like bacon beans, like as in blessed.
Yeah, bacon. No, yeah, bacon. It's bacon. Like a Jamaican beer can.
They have been baked by the Lord.
I love those beans. I believe they are blessed.
Yes, these are blessed beans. These blessed beans. Blessed be the beans.
I do have to laugh that Smudge was trying to say about me saying baked and bacon when he says Southern. Don't come at me.
Southern
with words.
What did I say? Southern.
You said you go in the South, like Southern, and then Southern America. I'm like, what is Southern America?
What are we talking about?
Don't they say Southern?
It was in the in one of the last streams we had. You literally went down in like Southern America. I was like, Southern America, Southern America. It's Southern.
Texas.
I have an
Mississippi.
So whenever Florida, Hawk's not said something correctly, I'm like, whoa.
Okay. Oh boy. All right, let's keep going. Jake the Surgeon. Humans are the same as snails, guys. Sex is just a social construct. Oh no.
Oh god.
Oh god.
I think seahorses as well are like that.
No.
Earthworms, etc. Yeah. Joe Crazy.
In seahorses, the males give birth and look after the children.
Oh,
I think clownfish can change their
I thought they just have some sacks where the little horsies get into to take care of them.
No, it's literally the male gets pregnant with the babies and then gives birth.
Okay, I thought it just had a pouch.
Mm.
That suddenly reminds me of the wonderful video we watched about Jurassic Park, how they were using frog DNA. And all the wonderful, wonderful trans stories from that critic about how
that was literally just like a plot twist that this frog they have just happens to can change gender, which allowed the dinosaurs to outsmart the humans.
Right, but they took it in such a crazy direction as it's being a form of females fighting against the male patriarchy because they could be stronger than males because they can take on their sex characteristics and all this other crap.
And the men still win. I don't care what you say.
Message coming in.
Alan Grant wins.
Through.
Man 1, trans dinosaurs 0.
the best was
Seahorse Society what feminists are aiming for?
Well, the
Seahorse Society. Yeah, I wish all feminists would go under the water.
The best was the example of the female seatbelt. how it could easily be tied around itself to solve a problem without a male, because
but it was all that was just foreshadowing the twist. These people are reading too much into small little foreshadows of movies.
I know, they're crazy. We get it. I know. Joe Crazy, thanks again. In the U.S.,
but it's not trans related.
No, in the U.S., sex and gender are just interchangeable. We will say either, and most will understand what we mean. Yeah, it's not hard. In common parlance, when you talk to people on the street, they're not going to take up too much of your time. They're going to speak plainly. And unless you do look like someone who doesn't quite fit one of the gender roles, they're going to be a bit confused on how to address you, so they probably won't use either pronoun. So they're just being friendly. They're just trying to get by.
If you're 6'7" with a beard wearing a dress, people are going to be a bit confused. No offense.
Yeah, this is the part I'll tell you. This is the part that why SJWs hate actual trannies. Because when you have actual gender dysphoria, you're not doing this lazy cross-dressing stuff. You actually try to pass, because you do not you're not running around with some name card. Hi, my pronouns are. You are passing so that people will naturally their brain patterns will naturally latch on to I see these patterns, these sex patterns, these characteristics, this phenotype, because the only thing we can really change is our phenotype, not the genotype, not the genes and the cells and all of that. That's not possible. We don't have that technology.
You shouldn't look like if you're doing the trans thing. You should not look like you could pass in like my old rugby team's Christmas do, when we used to dress up as women, as a mess around on a night out.
Yeah, that's just bad cross-dressing or drag.
Yeah. And you say, I'm a woman. This is what I look like. No. If you're going to be a woman, you've got to try and you want to look like a woman.
And then
I know a transgender girl who's gone through the whole thing. Her name's Vogue, which is a very strange choice, but hey ho. And she's done everything, and she looks amazing and fantastic. You wouldn't even. Looking at her, you wouldn't even guess.
I'm happy for her. Because not everyone's that blessed, but to achieve that. But the earlier you do, the better. But never before end of puberty, because gender dysphoria can naturally go away by end of puberty, because the brain sorts itself out. That is very important.
If you do it before puberty, you can literally not have enough skin to even do it.
This is other problems. The main problem is if you do any hormone treatment, be that puberty blockers or the cross-sex hormone therapy, you relinquish your chance at naturally losing gender dysphoria and having a normal life. That is why no kid should get that, and why the diagnosis.
I think the bottom line
for under 18,
children are fucking dumb. Okay, children are really, really dumb. I don't care how smart anyone thinks their child is; they're actually really dumb. Even smart children are dumb.
I feel attacked. Carry on, Dolphin.
But do you know what I mean, though? Like even the smartest children, they're dumb in ways that
kids are dumb fucks. Yeah.
Even if they're really good at, like, say they have like ridiculous scores. Even the fucking genius children who go to university when they're like fucking like 6, even those children are dumb in ways that only children are dumb.
Yeah. Because rational thought does not mean that you find the right answer.
Common sense hasn't fully developed in them yet.
Yes, they don't have their prefrontal cortex isn't developed. They can't actually really plan long term. They can emulate it to a degree, but they can't really do it. And so that's why we can't. We were dumb kids as well at some point. We couldn't foresee what the ramifications of our actions and of our neglect of whatever we were doing.
Yeah, exactly.
And the point is, someone under 18, at least at legal age, should never be diagnosed with gender dysphoria, Just as you don't diagnose people under 18 with antisocial behavior disorder, colloquially psychopathy, sociopathy, because you cannot be completely sure about that, and it's very condemning as well.
But I completely disagree with the logic of, well, we need to block puberty, and then that gives them time to decide. But it's like, giving them the puberty blockers could in and of itself influence the decision that they otherwise wouldn't have made.
Yeah, it also increases the suicidality as well.
Yeah,
instead of reducing it.
The neutral thing to do is to do nothing. Like that's the default thing is do nothing. You need to have a good reason to do something. And puberty blockers is not doing nothing, it's doing something. So the burden of proof on this being a good idea is not on the people saying, I don't know, I feel like we should probably not do it unless we have a really good reason, which you probably don't.
Yeah, and if your country is using the ICD-10, the US is using the DSM. If your country is using the ICD-10, the diagnosis a child with these issues should get is not gender dysphoria or something akin to that, or transsexualism, but instead F66.0. You can look that up. That is sexual maturity crisis. That is everything from being confused about sexual orientation to gender dysphoria, because all of these things can go away by end of puberty. That's why you wouldn't diagnose this. And this means that you are suffering because you are confused, under stress, things are weird. It's a normal thing. And for some, this can be really strong. In others, it can be just a little bit annoying. But this is the important part. Before end of puberty, don't intervene. Give emotional support, and that's it.
All right. Okay.
And I've been through that shit. I've been through that fucking shit. You can get through that. The time that gender dysphoria really grinds away at you is usually in your mid to late 20s. And if you make it past that and you have a stable life, you can usually chuck through to the end. If you have a loving family, kids, that the pain is still there, but it balances that out because you get this awesome love from your family.
Okay.
Yeah, but I find that a lot of these people deliberately distance themselves from family as well. A lot.
All right.
Stuff. Anyway,
let's carry on. Yeah. Alex Halo, then why do us weebs also hate it? I'm not exactly sure what you're referring to, Alex.
What do you hate?
Yeah. Alex, you might have to...
He hates weeb shit because he's not actually a weeb. You're a fake weeb.
You're a fake weeb? Oh, it's... Okay.
Who's a fake weeb, what?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The last thing I can add to this is the SJWs also hate the traps because they pass. Most of the SJWs you see, they do not pass.
Oh, God, no.
And trannies do not have a problem with traps. Traps are just cross-dressers. Very competent cross-dressers. And it's completely understandable to be jealous of them, for fuck's sake.
They're very good, yeah. It's hard to tell.
Listen.
I hear a lot that I hear it claimed a lot that, oh, well, you wouldn't even know. You wouldn't even know if they were there. You wouldn't even be able to tell. I think that's...
Yeah, until they open their mouths.
I think that's mostly not true. I think most of the time you can tell, and it'll be something that you might not even be able to describe why you can tell. You might not even be able to quite put your finger on what it is, but most of the time you can tell.
I would agree insofar as the more you have to do with this topic, the more you are aware, you're primed on the little bits that you have to that you're looking for. Like the biggest giveaway is usually the Adam's apple or the hand size. Those are pretty big giveaways.
Subtler things like how far apart the eyes are, or how long the nose is, or just like the chin is another one. And
it depends a lot of the region.
It's lots of really subtle things that you. But I think a lot of it is stuff you wouldn't even be able to articulate. Like you wouldn't even be able to necessarily describe to someone else what it is that means you can tell. But if you see
I know what you mean. I know what you mean, but I have to disagree a little bit because due to this whole issue that we're facing right now, there are women who are not as blessed by Aphrodite, let's say, who now get on a public female toilet and get accused of being trannies. Because they got a little bit too much testosterone in their youth and look not.
Well, I think
they still look good. They still look okay, but
patching it through.
Yeah, I think
they get mistaken for perverts, and that's we should have never gotten to this point, and there was no need to get to this point.
Yeah.
All right. Here's Jake the Surgeon. Seahorses have a pouch the females lay eggs in. Yeah, I think Hawk talked about that before. Thank you, sir.
So I was right.
Yep. Criminal imagination. Yet NPCs have somehow dictated that trap is a slur. My such tolerance from the left. Yeah, these are the kinds of people that we are dealing with. I wouldn't say Jessie Gender is of that persuasion, but she's getting there. We have to actually hear her argument first. And we haven't.
So we haven't got there yet, which is interesting. I'm actually no offense. I'm really enjoying because obviously Wisp knows what it. I'm just going to ask.
Thank you. So you can hear it from the tranny with the horrible voice. Trap is not a slur.
Is it? Would you like to be like? Is it she? That you
I'd say what's comfortable for you because
I'll say
well you haven't seen me and it's just people just operate on these simple patterns and I don't want to cause stress to you.
No, you're trying to transition to she. That's perfectly fine by me. I don't know if you're going to be one of those people who say like they or
Smut will now lose half of the audience.
So this Praetorian guard here. She's right. Yeah, she's putting across. Yeah, I'm just referring to. Obviously, I'm going to refer to her to a lot of things because obviously she knows a lot more than I do. So
anyway, don't worry.
But we'll see what they're going with. Yeah.
That's it. I'm sure they've heard it all. They won't be offended. Whatever you call them.
I don't know everything.
That's true. This is very true about humanity.
Hey, listen. I may be a massive cunt and a dickhead and a wanker, but I sometimes can be nice.
You have in your microphone. That's all I wanted.
Yeah.
Being nice.
I have the exact same microphone. I just don't know why it's changed.
Maybe it's something with the cable being broken or something.
Yeah, most likely. I have bought 12 of these.
This is all I ask for is people to have good microphones and use them properly.
Buy a different brand.
So you don't get like this sort of.
That's another issue outside.
Like voice in the radio.
Yeah, it's outside of people's control. So there's internet connections. Yeah. There's how you use your mic, the mic itself, the cable, etc. So long as I can hear you, it's loud. We're good. Mm-hmm. So anyway. Let's keep going. Yeah. No more super chats, Tyler. Speaking of which, Curio got me banned from a Twitch channel. What? For correcting him about Rin from Catherine not being trans but a crossdresser. Yeah, you're right. He is.
Which is weird because there is an actual trans character in Catherine that isn't Rin, right?
Well, whatever you characterize them as, it is a guy who is doing a very good job at looking like a girl. So Tyler was calling them crossdresser. You were calling them trans.
This is in the remake. This is in the
Catherine full body, yeah.
Oh, okay. Right.
I haven't played it, but you mean this bar person?
No. It's like a different Catherine.
Yeah.
It's like Catherine with a Q.
Right.
Wait, what?
There's three.
Q?
Yeah, there's
three. Yeah, it's like
Q.
So there's Catherine with a K, Catherine with a C, and then
Catherine. Yeah,
Catherine with a Q.
Right.
Okay, I'm not getting into that. That's super confusing.
Yeah, Catherine and the K and the Catherine with a C. Yeah, I knew that. But when I was a Q, that's not Catherine. That's Quaffrin.
Thank you, British man. Thank you.
Only if there's a U.
To your super chatter, that is easily explained how the SJWs view this. And I've noticed this a couple of years ago and only recently managed to articulate this. It is that they went to the point, and this is where they use trans not meaning transition or transsexual. They mean transcendent.
Also, the character is the character is literally an alien, like a non-human alien.
Wonderful.
What?
Wonderful. What the SJWs do is they have these super stereotypes of men and women, basically archetypes. And the moment you divert from that by 0.1%, they say, oh, you are not the stereotypical man or woman, so you must be trans. So a cross-dresser is always trans because the cross-dresser does not wear male clothing. That's why the tomboy is also trans, because the tomboy acts like a guy, while still being into guys, while still liking to be a mother.
Oh, I didn't know the voice actor of. I was just looking this up. I didn't realize the voice of that character is the same as the voice of Haruhi Suzumiya. I didn't know that.
Oh, cool.
Huh.
And
I'm
just to be clear,
I'm just sat here drinking because you're just all talking about weeb shit here, so I don't know.
Yeah.
All right.
So I don't endorse that view. I'm just explaining how they see the world.
Oh.
Enough of the weeb shit. Back to the gay shit. You know?
Yeah, back to bashing on old men about
back
their
to
language.
Star Trek. Come on, that's cool.
William Shatner is awesome.
You know who else is called Kirk?
Oh God! Please stop.
A person whose
So anyway,
sense of
saving
personal
Christmas.
identity and gender corresponds with their gender assigned at birth. Simple,
It's not
right?
assigned.
Now I get it. That can be a confusing gobbledygook of a phrase to anyone who hasn't
No, it's
attended the
not.
latest trans cult meeting.
No.
You know, those meetings where we plot
What?
the destruction of society alongside your
Yes, you
best
do.
friend's gender reveal party as well.
That's what you
so
do.
to simplify for
Yes,
our
you do.
discussion, basically, you can think of the word cisgender as meaning non-transgender.
Yes.
Basically, there's someone
They
like
don't-
me who was born...
They don't do it secretly. They do it openly.
Yes. They do it
It's on-
openly on
yeah.
Twitter. They
Why-
do it in your hobby
why-
group.
Why,
you just want to
why
play
do we-
Magic
why
the
do-
Gathering?
why do we say on these social media networks, wow, our secret meeting to destroy the world is going secretly well? It's like, yeah, okay.
So you see, this is a lie with a grain of truth. The meetings happen, but they're not secret, so it's a lie.
No, not secret. They've got fireworks going off all over the place. Anyway, let's just see what else she's
Right.
got to say. I'm gonna say she because
seen
I
as one,
assume
in my case a boy, but didn't feel like I was that gender. And so I've taken steps to be seen as another gender, in my
Had
case
nothing
girl.
to do with the
that
gender.
makes me transgender. Someone who didn't
No.
identify with their gender that they were assigned
Well, the word used to be
and has taken
sexual, but
steps
they didn't
to
like
be
that
seen
word.
as another gender, whether that being asked to be seen with different pronouns, surgeries,
No.
things like that. Then
Message
there's
coming in.
everyone else. People who
Patch
were
it through.
born seen as one gender and basically went,
Yeah, that seems to fit.
and I would presume that most of you out there
99.9%,
watching this video probably felt that way. Well, you would be considered.
I didn't feel anything.
You were
No,
born
no,
to
no.
another gender. It
I
was
feel
love
I feel
and
male,
you-
so
I didn't
feel.
anything.
And here comes this body phantom into play that I was talking about. That is a very, very, very distinct feeling. And in the past, they used to say, "Oh, like I'm being born in the wrong body." That is aiming in the right direction, but I'm not blaming the person who came up with that, because this is really hard to pinpoint, to articulate.
I thought
But it
that
doesn't address
I was born in the wrong body because I wanted to be born in the body of someone who's like a billionaire.
I wanted to be born in a Mad Cat from MechWarrior.
Oh, I said Matt Cat. I thought you said Matt Pat. I thought, why would you want to be him?
Oh fuck, no! Holy shit, no!
I thought, Jesus Christ, what the hell?
My male body is better than Mad Pat's. Fuck you.
Oh wow!
Would have been a distance the definition from anything to do with a feeling about your body. Like it's
Yeah.
not about your body; it's about
is-
society. You know, like
Yeah.
But the real condition is solely about the body, and if you have it, that is so fucking obvious to you, and this is where you can, if you're watching the recording, you can go back to my initial explanations about this, and here this Jesse person is talking about feeling about gender roles
How does
and
it make you
and personality.
feel?
And that is just irrelevant to gender dysphoria and transitioning.
the way to like phrase it is it's kind of like a trans person by any other pronoun is just as dysphoric. It's sort of it doesn't. It seems tangential to the dysphoria.
And that's why they came up with, because they don't have this actual gender dysphoria. They came up with new types of dysphoria that have no basis in science, like social dysphoria, and where they are socially transitioning, but not medically. That's why they just then start to cross-dress openly and want the other pronouns to be known, but also run around with their without a wig and have this, and you see their male hair loss and everything, like this new health whatever that the Biden administration has now.
It seems to contradict a lot with.
That's the Buffalo Bill type, if you ask me.
You have gender roles are just social constructs, and like girls can do anything and boys can do anything. So what's to stop someone who identifies completely as male and he, him pronouns, whatever, and just does all of the same things that someone who is transitioning does? They do like all of the same things, but they don't change their pronouns, right? So
I think I've lost you at some point.
Okay, so say someone does literally all the same things in terms of dressing like a woman and like training to use their voice to sound more like a woman, but so they do all of that stuff, but they don't change their pronouns. They don't get people what pronoun they use. At that point, it's just semantic.
It's also nonsensical. And a lot of this SJW stuff is not internally consistent. It's just what everyone wants it to be on their side. If you go through all this
pronoun thing is silly because the UK women's weightlifting record is held by a male rap artist.
Wait, did Zuby get that verified?
Yeah, he got it verified. Yeah.
Oh my god! And they didn't cancel it out again?
Nope.
After he said nope, okay, I'm not. I just wanted to prove this.
No. It stays.
Oh my god!
Because at that moment in time, he was classed as a woman.
This is broken. This is absolutely broken. I mean, and he proved it's broken, but you have to really, and at that point, when you found this weak point in society, you have to really keep on hitting it so that that society at large and the SJWs themselves are embarrassed by it. So embarrassed that it gets fixed. Because if you just do it and you prove it and then you stop and you look away, then the SJWs forget about it and try to push it under the rug.
Yeah.
You have to. It's sadly one of their strategies. They have narcissistic, infantile strategies that they keep the pressure going, and the only way to stop that from happening is to keep the pressure against them going.
Yeah, this is.
And we are too mature. We are too much adults that we do this childish game. But the thing is,
this is why when they mention cisgender, it's like I disregard that because it's pardon me, sorry. It's almost like a word that they've made up to try and describe me, when I can easily describe me not using their words.
Yes, that's what I meant with it's just a derogatory term. They use it just as a derogatory term for nothing else.
Yeah, when someone calls me cisgender, they're not calling me cisgender because that's what they think I am. They're calling me cisgender to try and insult me.
Yeah, and to demean you and your value in the conversation of having anything worth to say.
When someone says, you are a white cis male, that's not to say what I am. That is an insult. Like that is just like another way of calling me a cunt.
Privileged. Yeah. It's saying you're privileged and you don't understand the suffering of XYZ group, and you should just shut up about any topic that concerns any of these oppressed groups or these marginalized.
But I'll tell you something now. I have had worse shit happen to me than 90% of the people who talk about oppression. 90% of the people who talk about oppression have never felt oppression once in their life.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Muggins here, I've had the shit that's happened to me in my life. Fucking wow. It's made me who I am, and it's made me a lot stronger and realise that there's, to enjoy life a lot more. But fucking hell, if these people had half the stuff that's happened to me, being
it wouldn't be the way they are.
Be the worst. Yeah, being
they would either grow up or they would be so broken sorry, I'm talking over you. They would either grow up or they would be so broken they couldn't leave the house anymore.
Try actually being sent into prison on false charges.
Oh God.
Yeah, try doing that. Yeah, I had that happen to me.
I'm not going to get into that exercise content.
Yeah, exactly. And these people are going like, oh, someone's misgendered me. Yeah, fun times.
Yeah.
Cry me a fucking river.
Yeah, I'm going to cry you my river about that very topic. Some 5 years ago. That was before I got, I think it's a bit over 5 years ago now. That was before I was open to, hey, friends, I'm gonna do this thing. I have gender dysphoria. I want to do the transition thing now. Because I didn't tell anyone before. And so this was before that happened. And when I came open with that, with every friend I had, I sat down 3 hours, talk about everything I know about this shit, answer questions and all of that. But before that, we were planning at our club an event where so lots of people came to visit. We had like talks and workshops and all of that, and some social fun stuff. And the venue we had a limited number of toilets, not even really enough for the number of people we were expecting. And it was the time when this social justice, trans nonsense, code of conduct crap started coming up. And suddenly, all the SJWs, and I don't think the name was really a thing at the time then, I think it was just emerging, suddenly turned up, who were never present in the club, but they suddenly turned up and wanted to be part of organizing and everything, and they demanded that we have extra trans toilets. We already didn't have enough normally for what the infrastructure gave, and I, not being openly trans at the time, asked one of them, girl, head shorter than me, short hair, did probably doing the feminist, I have to look male type stuff, but with butch type, but the cutish girl, not very curvy, more this stick in the landscape thing. And I asked her, why would trans people even need an extra toilet? I thought you were about inclusion, and that sounds like you would be. That sounds more like you're pushing them aside onto something like a disabled people's toilet, disability toilet. And she just was shocked for a few seconds, then didn't look directly at me, so she looked a bit to the side, and said, "Oh, cis guy like you couldn't know that, couldn't understand that," and went past me and outside. And I was just, what the fuck was that? And this was, I've in politics, I was active in politics for a long time. I've noticed these people slowly creeping up and noticing that they were superficial and very weird in their beliefs, and that you couldn't really talk with them most of the time. Yeah. But this was one of my final waking up moments of, these people are nuts. Because how the fuck do you know whether I have gender dysphoria or not? She called
how
me.
Can you read? How can you read my mind about what?
She called me a cis guy because I questioned her. I wasn't as elaborate as I was right now. It was simple. I don't know the actual words anymore. It was much shorter. And she just calls me that and then dashes off because she has no answer. And I stepped into something. I asked a question for clarification.
But the reference of cisgender was used not as a way to define you, but as a way to insult you, and that's what we're saying. Cisgender is not used in a way that we say transgender. Cisgender is used as an insult by the SJWs to people.
It's a conversation.
They view as not on their side. So
you're a Nazi. What do you have to say?
Yeah. Well, I've got loads of things to say. Zeke and Heil.
So when did you stop killing Jews? You know, it's
1947.
1945 is when history ended in our history classes in school. Well, that's another topic.
But anyway, so
let's
carry on.
Yeah, I'm sorry I'm dragging this out, but this was so baffling to me that moment. Because I'm standing there, I have gender dysphoria, I just didn't tell anyone, and this little
bitch.
Overpowered bitch. I don't know what I'm allowed to say here. Imp.
You're allowed to say a lot of things. We've got Dollface. I keep just pointing to Dollface in the corner. It's like, yeah, we've got him here. Don't worry about it.
Anyway, let's try and keep on going. I don't think we're going to get halfway done tonight, but we'll see what we can do. Taker 610, the HP sorting hat, that's Harry Potter, I think, assigns your gender at birth. Oh, my.
Well, wizards don't actually have to give birth because they just magic the baby out. They just do the same thing they do with the shit.
Oh, God.
Wizard is not a gender.
Don't talk about Harry fucking Potter.
Oh, wait, can you look up that list? Maybe there's a wizard gender now?
I really don't want to look up the list, to be brutally honest.
Let's not do that.
I went through that nightmare-inducing crap once already.
If your gender is on the list, you can get into the club. If it's not on the list, we'll just put it there, and then you can get into the club.
He's making me think of the list in Lost. Like where he's like, "Oh, I know that you're not in the list because you're not a good person."
Okay, here's Joe Crazy. Identify as MatPat. Oh, God. My pronouns are game in theory. Well, luckily, you don't have pronouns like food in theory. That would be horrible. So.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ, that food theory video.
Good, I missed that.
The least food theory thing you could have.
It's kind of funny you can base your entire channel and then base another entire channel on your one thing you do, your shtick, which is like, I have a crazy idea in my imagination. Let's apply that to everything. It's like, no, Matt, don't do that.
Yeah, but it was the fact that he went, this is food theory, and the only thing that connected to the food was he was talking about McDonald's. There was nothing else about food.
I know,
but running out of ideas?
Can you imagine, like, growing up?
I wish he was running out of ideas. Like, he might stop.
Well, the idea, if you have all these ideas in your head, like as a kid, like you become a musician because you want to sing about them, it's entertaining. Now it's you become a video editor and just put all this crazy crap onto a video editing XY thing and just make a video for people. Like that's the new way of being popular. Not to become a musician is to become a video editor on YouTube. So,
but video editing takes so much time.
Oh God, yeah.
Why would you produce crap?
I don't know.
Shits and giggles. I don't know. I question this every day that I'm alive now.
Manage
why do you make this? Why?
And then it's uploads.
Why did you make this? It's like, why did you make this? And why did the audience make us watch this? Like banging my fist. Why?
I mean, this one at least is a relatively consecutive take with some words edited in. That's not that much stuff, but there's stuff that I wonder, why did you put effort into this?
Yeah, but it's like, oh, I'm gonna make a video about William Shatner talking on Twitter being half decent, and it's like, well, why did you make 30 minutes? Why did you make a 30-minute video of this? He didn't say anything wrong. He just said things,
This man said decent and founded and nice and correct things. Here's why it's problematic.
I don't agree with William Shatner on everything he says, but what he said here was perfectly fine.
Yeah.
If you want to find out what he said, watch 2 hours ago when we started actually talking about him.
Yeah. Anyway, what a great segue.
There's nothing wrong with what he said.
I think he was unnecessarily mean to Mike Stocklasa, but this here is fine.
He absolutely broke Mike. Mike was broken.
Sad. It was really sad.
Anyway,
we can carry on.
Went on living life, and that's awesome. So cisgender is just a term to describe people. It's an adjective like short, skinny, beautiful, amazing.
It depends how you use it, though.
Things like
depends how you use it.
Okay, so
how about
skinny,
ugly?
Right? So, an example of skinny, right? So, the term "skinny bitches." Right? So,
I was literally about to say skinny bitches, right? Yeah.
So, like, it is used in a pejorative sense in some circumstances, right? If you're saying, I don't know, I kind of don't think these plus-size models are all that attractive, and I kind of don't want to see that, I kind of want to see models that are attractive, in these fashion magazines. Then that's you fucking skinny bitches coming in here with your fat phobia.
You are beautiful. You are beautiful to a blind man.
It depends how it's used, right? So even though you can argue that it just
cisgendered is never used.
Use it. If you use it as a pejorative, it's a pejorative. It's like the same way. Retard was a medical term, right? Idiot was a medical term. Moron was a medical term. All of these have actual definitions and that were used in sort of scientific context where they were
retarded still is.
Right, so they were.
It means inhibited in development.
Yeah, I mean it comes from the French to slow down, right? So they're slow, right? They're literally slow. So they have these sort of dry, contextless sort of meanings, but they can be used as a pejorative, right? And
you can make anything like that, though. That's the thing.
So that's the problem I have here is just going. Oh well, no, it's not a pejorative because here's the dictionary definition. Is just silly.
It is a term used in science, in studies. That's where it belongs. Outside of that, because it just makes the reading clearer and easier and shorter. Outside of that, you're correct. It's always used as a pejorative.
Yeah, you go through
as
Twitter.
It was used against me.
Cisgender. You look at cisgender on Twitter, and it is never used as something positive. It is always a way to insult someone or to end the conversation.
It's always demonization.
Yeah. Derogatory.
And I have another wonderful adjective for you. This time
one more thing, Jackie.
One more thing. Unrealistic.
Morphine.
Oh god.
Morphine.
Oh god.
Which is always used to describe people who are completely realistic, just unachievable with the lifestyles of the people complaining about them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't blame their lifestyle. No, you don't understand. They have a thyroid problem,
if you have a thyroid problem, you take thyroid hormone, and you don't get fat because. I'm sorry, I'm really pissed about this because I have
hypothyroidism.
Yes, hypothyroidiosis, something. I take my meds. I don't get fat because I take the meds. Because if you don't take them, your thyroid isn't producing the thyroid hormone, which is relevant for your metabolism, so that your digestive system works. If that doesn't work, everything just gets stored as fat. I take my meds. Honest, I don't get fat. You can't blame your fucking fucking gland issue for being fat if you take the fucking meds.
The reason the population of modern first world countries is more fat, way more overweight than they were several decades ago, that can't possibly be some genetic change. It's just too fast for it to be genetics, right? It just doesn't make sense.
These people just eat too much and work out too little, because this is a very simple calculation.
Right? I do very little exercise. Right, I drink a lot, and with lockdown for this last year, I've not been going anywhere. I do a 5-minute walk to the shop every so often.
Yeah,
and sometimes go to town. I'm not doing a lot of exercise. I'm drinking and eating and sitting on my ass. I've not put any weight on.
Yeah, you know what you can alternatively do to not get fat?
Well,
you can do mental work because that burns a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Which means these people, they eat too much, they do not work out, and they do not mentally do anything either.
No, because they just sit in front of a TV and watch the fucking soaps and watch the fucking, Keeping Up with the Kardashians. And we go, the hand goes into the fucking bag of cheesy Wotsits again for the 900th time that night.
Yeah, and when that's your life, it's of course unrealistic to get a pretty body.
Yeah, but I've got a thyroid problem. Yeah, sure, yeah, sure.
Yeah, if you got a thyroid issue, then get the fucking meds, you lazy thing.
Anyway.
I need more whiskey.
William Shatner.
Well, here's
good man.
Here's Tickleson in the super chat. F in chat for Mike Stolklasa. In case you guys forgot that tangent that we just started off on.
Oh god, that was honestly, you could tell. I know he tried to laugh it off, but he was fucking broken.
No,
I laugh about it, but wow, that's horrible seeing your childhood hero.
I feel for him.
William Shatner pretty much insulted red letter media.
Yeah, the way he looked on camera, it was just it hurt. It emotionally hurt.
Yeah, just look it up. Just look it up. Yeah, just look it up with it because Mike's from Red Letter Media. Yeah, just look it up there. Okay. Not their spat with William Shatner because it wasn't really that, but the disagreement.
It was so unnecessary.
Yeah, it was so unnecessary, but it was just William Shatner pretty much took. When he did the Nerd Crew,
he didn't get the joke.
He didn't get the joke that they were messing around. He thought that's what they actually did, and he called them a bunch of idiots and stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I mean, he's a boomer. He's a boomer on the internet chat.
He's 90 years old. People keep forgetting how old this guy is. He's so old.
But this also tells another thing that this is the post-law problem. The satire that Red Letter Media did with Nerd Crew is so much like what it actually is out there. That is indistinguishable from the bullshit.
Yeah.
The satire is indistinguishable, and that is probably one reason why Shatner fell for it.
That's good satire, so. What are you laughing at, Dollface?
These fucking tweets. These fucking tweets from Shatner. That's pretty funny.
Shatner's amazing. He's wonderful.
All right.
Anyway, let's carry on with this video because we're only not even halfway through this fucking thing.
Sorry. Description. So if I say someone is a cisgender man or a cis man for short, I'm not describing his manhood nor trying to define his manhood.
Yes, you are.
I'm just simply defining a feature of that person. It's the same as me saying someone is a tall man.
If you say someone's overweight, is that's
insulting?
Not insulting, or is that just descriptive?
And yes, if you are describing someone's
overweight, they are overweight. They are like larger than they should be to be healthy. I'm just made a factual statement. Why are you offended? This is how dumb this argument is, and it's really, really dumb.
Yeah, and it's really just to say that because I call you. Yeah, and it's just that I call you cis to indicate that you cannot possibly ever understand how I, as not cis, feel.
Right.
Because I also say, when I say you are a cis man, that you have no empathy and therefore cannot imagine what it would be like from another person's perspective.
Yeah, it's like you literally have to be the exact same as a person or else you can't empathize at all.
Which is
put yourself in your shoes at all.
Which gets us to another basic problem.
I just say this to people. I don't empathise with anybody. You're all a bunch of cunts. Do what you want to do.
Especially
empathy just means that you can see the world from another person's perspective, from another person's shoes, which is what you do in role-playing games. And these people, and this is when they accuse you of not having empathy through calling you a cis man, that is narcissistic projection, because narcissists actually do not have empathy. That is the key feature of narcissism. They cannot play role-playing games because they can only play themselves. They can only come up with self-insert characters. That is why these people always produce Mary Sue characters. Mary Sue self-insert characters. And that is what you see in all the SJW writings, in all the cartoons, in all the weird shows. It's Mary Sue self-insert characters because it's written by narcissists. For narcissists.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm on a roll.
Yeah.
Or a Christian man, or a religious man, or an Asian man. It's also why we see cis-man as two separate words. Not cis-man, but cis-man. Cis-man sounds like a type of grill. Anyways, back onto the point. Cis is literally just a descriptive word. Now, I hear a lot of people asking, why do we even need the term cisgender at all? Why don't we just say transgender and not transgender? Well, the answer is because generally in science, and honestly just in language, we tend to prefer to create words context, so as to say something is something. We're not talking in scientific paper. Like, I don't look at a door and call it not wall all the time. The term not wall.
Shatner is not looking at fucking scientific papers here. He doesn't
want to be called cisgender because he knows that the people calling him cisgender are just using it as insult. So he's asked people to stop calling him cisgender. Why is it? I know why you don't want to understand it, but I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. Why is it so difficult to understand? He knows these people are insulting him, so he said, "Please don't use that because I know you're insulting me. I don't want to be insulted. Please don't use this term."
Because this person is trying to justify insulting people.
Yeah, I understand that.
It's essentially
I said earlier on I'm going to be open-minded, so I'm giving them the small benefit of a doubt that they might be mentally retarded. They don't understand why people are saying these things.
I'm kind of retarded.
But you know that he's saying don't call me cisgender because I find that offensive.
Well, the thing I don't like about this,
being one of the progressives, should accept that. Why is it so difficult?
Yeah, we already have a word for this. It's called man or woman. So we already have a parent term. If you want to do a derivative of that or deviate from that, that's great. But there's no need to change the parent term. So
and there is honestly, if you have to because this is again playing into this actual condition versus Munchausen syndrome. If you have the actual condition, there is no need to ever reference that you are a trans woman or trans man because you want to pass. Unless we want to talk about the actual issue of this whole thing, but then we still wouldn't call in a normal social context outside of scientific papers, people who do not have gender dysphoria, cis men or cis women, we would just, as you said, call them men and women because they have nothing special about them. I would like to have nothing special about me. I want to be normal. Yeah, the whole point. I want to be normal. I don't want this shit.
Message coming in.
I want to be normal. I don't want to be this amazingly attractive, witty, individual. I just want to be normal sometimes.
Yeah, and because this will get taken out of context, that doesn't mean I'm a self-hating tranny. That means I would rather not have had gender dysphoria in the first place. That's all. Yeah. Not liking your medical condition doesn't mean you're self-hating. It just means I would prefer a life where I don't have that thing.
Have you seen there were a couple of tweets about how it was it was literally people who are deaf who were complaining that a child that was born deaf was given surgery to make them not be deaf. Right?
I have trouble.
They were complaining. They were literally complaining that they were taking away a part of their identity.
Yeah, that's not being deaf is not your identity. That's a condition. And I have read such heartbreaking things. Not heartbreaking, heartwarming, but they also make me cry. Stories about people who got their first hearing aid that made them able to hear something for the first time, and it's just all these tiny things like I hear the bubbling of my aquarium, and just all of these tiny things, and I hear my best friend singing voice, and it's just wow, this is wonderful. And you want to deprive people of the world of sound? Deliberately, when we could do something about it, you are insane. Then you just want other people to suffer. You want other people to suffer like you suffered because you didn't have something. Other people shouldn't have it as well. And this is the other kind of jealousy that lots of these SJWs also have. It's also a narcissistic trait, or something that you see in narcissism a lot, where others aren't allowed to have it better than you. You need to tear them down because you can't elevate yourself above them. So instead, you try to saw off their legs. And this is something I most often have seen in female office spaces.
It's a lot easier to drag people down.
And it's the same with these unrealistic body types. Because they don't want to work on themselves, they get, have I cut out? Am I cut out?
No, you're fine. No, you're fine. No, I can still hear.
Okay, because you got silent all of a sudden.
Oh, sorry. No, I'm just waiting for you to talk.
Yeah, I think I have my daily disconnect here at some point. We have that in Germany, 24-hour disconnect.
Really?
Oh, right, okay.
It's the same with the unrealistic body types because they want to be lazy and still be venerated. They have to tear down the pretty girls who take effort. And here's something, a little detail that I have personally noticed. Freud was wrong about women having penis envy. Maybe there are some feminists, but he's aiming in the right direction, but he's a little off target. What I noticed many women have is boob envy. Holy fucking shit. Holy fucking
Freud
shit.
He could have just wrote, fucking bitches be cray cray, not gonna lie.
Yeah, but
it would have been like,
this is a real detail.
Yeah.
It's a real detail. And I tell you, on this note, I also tell you, so when I'm outside, because of my voice, I tend to not open my mouth too much, because that breaks the immersion. I never once got negative comments from men. Not once. So this horribly transphobic patriarchal society was never mean to me. At least not as a girl. Yeah. All the snide remarks I got from women. They were either, and mostly, past 40 or while in puberty.
Yeah, you'll find the most quite snidey when they reach their 40s.
And that was the time when I reminisced a little bit about the past and noticed that, and draw your own conclusions, because this is just my personal sample size in life. So I can be wrong on this. Feminists seem to, on average, have a very small cup size, unless they are very obese. And I have not.
Can agree with you there.
It's boob envy. It's complete boob envy. They hate, and that's where they hate the war on boobs come from. In movies, in anime, it's that they just hate large breasts because on slim girls because they just feel inferior.
Attractive women. Feminists hate attractive women.
They want to get rid of the competition.
Yeah.
So when I walk around, I know the voice is confusing, but when I walk around there and I have a considerable cup size, the feminists hate me, and not just the feminists. Most older, so
I don't even think it's not necessarily about competition, because it's not like I don't think they actually want to compete. I think they just don't want other people to succeed. It's not that they want it. It's not that they actually want the male attention. They just don't want other people to have it.
Yeah, but that's the difference between the conscious and the subconscious, the unconscious. Because the unconscious drive is be attractive so you attract a mate. Put on the makeup so you're pretty so you attract a mate. They're not consciously putting on the makeup to attract a mate, at least not all of them. That's the girls, the women and the feminists who say, I want to be pretty for myself.
Yeah,
but you're still putting on the... Yeah, but still, you're putting on the red lipstick that makes your lips bigger, and blushing. You put on the blush so that you. These are signs of arousal.
Simulating. Well, yeah, but it's also it's just youth in general.
Yes.
It's youth, and it's simulating arousal.
Yes, and I'm not slut shaming here, but when you the thing is, when you want to wear a low-cut top that shows off your cleavage, you're not doing that for yourself. I mean, yes, you want to feel sexy, you want to feel proud of yourself, but to believe, even remotely, that this has no sexual effect on the other sex or a lesbian.
I fucking hate in like
retarded.
I fucking hate it, especially in like schools and stuff where they try to, boys should just learn not to stare. Like, no, fuck off. Like, fuck off with that shit.
You don't want the guys to stare, you cover up. That's simple as that.
You can't just tell pubescent boys, just don't be distracted.
Don't be distracted by the cleavage. Yeah, go on then.
Dude, I've been a pubescent boy at some point. You don't... Dude, cover up. If you don't want them to stare, then wear your baggy sweater.
It's so fucking dumb to try to just teach boys not to look. Like, fuck you, dude. Anyone who says that, it just annoys the shit out of me. I've seen it so much.
Yeah, and there's zero self-reflection.
I'm glad we have...
do not understand why they do what they do. That's
one reason I'm glad I went to a school with uniforms. You know, I think I like uniforms. I like schools having uniforms, personally.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and don't get me wrong, I'm not hating on girls dressing up like that. Not at all.
I am, because I'm a misogynist. So
here's the thing. I fucking hate women.
I absolutely fucking despise the female gender.
That's when you know you pass, when the misogynist hit you.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just keep the jokes flowing.
Yeah, let's try to keep going here. Mike Testa, thank you. This video is cold and calculating, much like him. I don't know. I'm not sure what to make of Jesse Gender. I haven't quite figured him out, or her out, rather, so I don't know.
So after the 6.5 minutes, I would say this is a rational person with logical thinking skills, but not aware of the errors in so there is internal consistency. There's all people strive naturally for internal consistency subconsciously, is not aware of the errors in that. And I haven't really asked that. I don't know if I should ask that question, but is Jessie on hormone replacement therapy, or just in makeup?
She does have breasts, so I would imagine so.
The reason I'm not making YouTube content is mainly because my voice.
Mm-hmm.
It's possible she had some voice training. It is. I don't know, but you know.
Yeah, we can't make that judgment.
Yeah, the hormone replacement therapy, usually after 6 months you see visual changes.
Oh yeah.
The earlier you start, the better. When it's past 30, less so. So usually starting that late is usually most people who have actual gender dysphoria don't start after 30, because it's just there's not much point to it. You lose the dysphoria, yes, but forget the passing stuff. It gets really hard.
Okay, so we got 6.5 minutes in. We can keep going if you guys want to go. It's up to you.
We can still go. I've got 2 beers on standby, so I'm set.
Jeez,
that's cool. My whiskey is good.
Okay.
For what a door is, but the word door just makes more sense to use. Again, it's the same reason we don't call the floor not ceiling, or a table not chair,
semantics,
or my hopes and dreams as not worthwhile. Sure, those are all
call the floor not
correct,
ceiling,
but they're not exactly
Why is it being
illustrating
weird
what something
like that?
is just what it isn't. Just coming up with a term for what something is, like cisgender, rather than what it isn't, like saying non-transgender all the time, is just simpler, more specific, and clearer.
No, it's not.
No, wrong. You would just say gender and transgender, because one is the standard,
they're
and the other is the deviation.
Man and woman and transgender.
Well, I don't care in the context of science. If
I
they
don't care. But here's the
argument
thing.
is
we're talking about colloquial use.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Well, the thing is,
when you're transgender, you're changing from one gender to another, so there must be a baseline already.
Yeah, but
man and woman.
What I'm saying is, like, she's changing the goalposts from being about how it's used colloquially, which is what William Shatner's talking about, to how it's used in a sort of unemotional scientific context, right?
Well, and I understand that. Yes.
Yeah. Right, but that's my point. I don't mind if you want to have a term to specify that, like, because the reason you want to have a separate term is because if you just say man, you want to have that as an umbrella term to include, like, assigned at birth men, quote unquote, and assigned something else at birth men. Do you know what I mean? So you want to have an umbrella term that encompasses both of those, and then two separate terms for each of those. So I can understand in a scientific context, but that's not really what William Shatner is talking about. So this
it's not at all. Yeah,
you're just going on and on explaining a point that is like basically a non sequitur, and it's disingenuous.
This is what I said about
William Shatner is pretty much saying here. No, the term cisgender that is being used is used as an insult. Please not call me this.
Bro, what the fuck are elbows? What the fuck are bro? It's fucking arm knees. Okay, it's arm knees.
Arm knees.
We all call them arm knees here.
Just because I called you a non-ceiling, it doesn't mean that I'm being anti-floor. Come on.
What it all called an anti-ceiling could also be a wall. Or
an anti-ceiling could be an anti-ceiling could be a car.
It could be anything that is not a ceiling.
It could be anything.
But the point is, this is the point about neologisms I brought up about new words. It has to be simple, precise, and needed. And is cisgender simple? I'm throwing the question to the room.
No.
Is cisgender simple?
No.
Is it precise?
No, not really. No. It's just.
Well, precise it somewhat is.
Yeah,
but is
not
it needed?
In the terms that people are using, not in the terms that people are using it in. This is my problem. When people say cisgendered, it's the people using the word aren't using it for what we would use it for.
Yeah,
if it was an actual word.
Yeah. The point is the rule for a neologism is that it has to fulfill all the criteria and not just some of them to become an actual valid used word in common language. And it may be precise, but it's not simple and it's not needed because we already have the simple term gender in common I'll say parlance.
Common parlance.
Yeah, you can say that. Yeah.
All right. Let's keep going. Joe Crazy, thank you. Some women wear yoga pants casually and they wonder why they suddenly become the center of attention.
Message coming in.
I think they know why. I think they know.
God damn, I'm fucking horny.
I'm confused.
God damn those girls in the yoga pants.
I need more whiskey.
Silence, yoga pants.
It probably ruins my voice even more.
Silence, yoga pants wearing wench. I do not wish to be horny anymore. I just want to be happy.
It's so simple to get a good
lockdowns found that plenty of ways to make me horny over the smallest things.
Just do your squats and you get a good butt.
If only women would get horny over my smallest thing, I'd be all set.
Well, you always can count on the flamboyant gaze.
Oh yeah, they're lined up at my door. Wonderful.
Okay.
Anyway, William Shatner.
Yeah.
When are we going to get into fucking rolling?
Why does the Shatman, and perhaps maybe some of you watching this video, find the term to be offensive, other than the fact that the word cis is really honestly just a terrible-looking word? Look, I didn't choose it, but I think we can all agree that the letters C and S just shouldn't ever be that close together in a word. It's unnatural. But I mean, clearly, the word cisgender must have some reason that people are so bothered by it. Even people like William Shatner.
Yeah, because you use it as you attempt to use the word as an insult, and we know you use the word as an insult. So the reason why we tell you to stop using it is because we go, please stop insulting me. and pretending that you're interested in an actual conversation.
Yeah.
Why is this so difficult to understand? If I kept calling you a fucking cunt, right? But I kept saying, no, it's just the way it's just the way I talk to people. It's just what I identify people as who are different to me.
Anglo-Saxon culture, you know. It's just
if you have a cunt, it's just a descriptor, right?
Yes, it's just what do you?
You're a cunt woman. You're a cunt woman. That's, it's just a descriptor. It's just a descriptor. It's like a tall woman or a short woman.
Okay.
Listen,
so because
here's the problem. Us people who aren't part of the SJWs, we're not as stupid as you want us to be.
Yeah, and you're also insulting you're insulting the trans people who don't tell you that they're trans people with cis.
Yeah.
So why? Yeah. Why are you so superficial? Why do you only judge people by what you can see?
Yeah,
or perceive to see? Or assume to see?
Because we have to try and explain to them. They think we are fucking just knuckle-dragging monkeys. They see us as subhuman. They see us as lesser than them.
Yeah, so the worst thing is that they're not even going by what they superficially see you as.
Okay, let's be honest.
They define whether you are cis or trans or homo or hetero, or what race you are, by what opinion you have.
That is
the worst thing of all.
Yeah. So they say. When they say cisgendered, it isn't to be about describing you; it's an insult, and we conceive that. And the reason why they're annoyed that we call them out on that is because they're like, "Damn, these fucking knuckle dragging idiots have figured out that our one attempt of an insult doesn't work anymore." So instead of them being smart enough to think of something else, because they're all fucking idiots, and they are all fucking idiots. I don't care that I'm a couple of bottles deep.
They're emotionally immature.
Shut up. They just go, no. If we've got to try and push that this one insult we took ages to think of is perfectly valid and reasonable, so we can keep using it, so we don't have to think up something else. That's all it is. Cisgendered is just an insulting term used by SJWs, and that is it. It is not used by other people.
Yeah, and you mentioned strategy,
and that is my TED talk for tonight.
This is wonderful. Much better than what you see on TEDx. You mentioned the strategy, and you said you have a little kid, and
I have a child. Yes,
yeah, and from what you said, it probably went through the shitty phase already, or is there right now? And
he's 18 months right now.
Oh, okay.
So I've got a lot of shitty phases to look forward to.
Okay, and then the real shit is still ahead of you. When kids get into their narcissistic phase, and when we're talking about narcissistic personality disorder, it's very, very dumbed down. They're basically, for the rest of their life, stuck in that phase from around 3 to 5 years old, somewhere around that.
Yeah,
that's where they're emotionally retarded,
stunted.
Stunted.
I would say.
Yeah, yeah. So that can happen.
I'm gonna say
either way. That can happen at different ages.
I know you'd say retarded dollface because you just want to call everyone retarded.
Yeah.
Don't call my child retarded.
Is he retarded though?
Yes.
It's like not gonna lie.
Oh,
not gonna lie, pretty retarded. No, he's fine. He's fine. Yeah. He's wonderful. He's lovely.
Thing is, if you know kids of the age range I described, where yours is still getting to, yes. All the tactics kids use during that time, because they learn how lies work, and that they can trick their parents with just saying something that is counter reality, and parents are startled for a moment and then, wait, like, you said you didn't take the cookies, but there are cookie crumbles on your face. So did you take the cookies or not? No, I didn't take the cookies. And so all of that stuff. Kids try gaslighting and all of that. They figure that out naturally. And when they're narcissistic,
gaslighting,
they keep all of that. Yeah. They keep all of this behavior, and all these SJWs are espousing, all their strategies are the strategies of 5-year-old kids. And if we encounter 5-year-old kids doing that,
I completely agree. Yeah.
When we encounter 5-year-old kids doing that, we shut them down. Maybe we slap them on if they're really shitty. You don't need to do that with most kids, but some just sorry.
Wes, we can't stop beating kids up. Okay.
Yeah, some kids
even
just
lines
don't
that
understand
there's even
boundaries.
lines that I draw.
There's so with most kids you can stop them before that
most
point,
kids are
but
pretty
there are
dumb.
exceptions.
Yeah,
there are exceptions who are so dumb that they only understand a physical limitation, and if you don't show that, they will.
I do think it's kind of funny though how most kids you can just tell them to sit on the naughty step and they'll be annoyed, but they'll still do it, like as if you have some power over them to make them stay on it.
Well,
but all you have to do is go, oh no, you sit there, and they'll go, oh.
Yeah, and the SJWs, they need to sit on the naughty steps.
At a playgroup, my little one wanted to have a construction hat.
Very nice taste.
Yeah, but we had to go, so he couldn't wear it. So what he did was he just laid on his belly and went "Rah!" like that. I was like, no, just picked him up, put his coat on, we left. So I'm not messing around. He didn't cry, he didn't kick off, but he thought him doing this would make me go, yeah, fine, you can wear it. Yeah. I was like, no, and just straight up picked him up, just like, nope.
I definitely remember a story that my parents have told me from when I was very small, which is like, stop watching TV, I'm crying. Look at me. Like literally, like no, like pay attention to me. I'm crying. Like even though it's like I clearly wasn't, and sort of I'm doing the thing. This is I'm doing that. I'm performing the upset things that people do when they're upset. Pay attention, because I just couldn't fake it at all. Because I was.
It'll get fun when he figures out that mommy and daddy are different people who have different, distinct different knowledge. And then try to, Daddy, can I do that? No. And then goes to mommy and says, Mommy, can I do that? Yes.
Well, to be brutally honest, my son has no contact with his mother, so he's not going to have that problem. No, don't. Oh, she's a terrible human being. She's a terrible.
Yeah, it happens. I know types like that. So,
all right. Okay.
Let's move on. Let's move on from that and go to William Shatner. Smuds like this.
Supportive overall.
The lie detector.
Well, it's all about the context in which people like William Shatner and many other people encounter cisgender. You see, the word cisgender is relatively new, first coined in 1991 by a German scientist named Volkmar Sigurd in his essay Dein transsexuellen und unsonanzmorphen Blick. God, I can't speak German. Apologies to my German viewers out there. In English, that essay means...
Fuck you. Can I see that again?
Sure, let me rewind.
Was that 1891 or 1991?
Essay Dein trans...
What?
Sorry, 1991. It was 1991.
Okay, but it was
gender
was used way before.
Cisgender was used a long way before that, yeah.
So, die Transsexuellen und unser Nosomorph... What the fuck? This must be a typo. Nosomorpher Blick. That can't be right.
What is that?
Probably nosomorpher?
Yeah, morpher.
Nosomorph? Probably.
I
need to look that up.
What does that actually say in English then?
The transsexuals and our nosomorph view. I don't know what nosomorph is supposed to mean.
Oh right.
I don't think that's a word. Let's see. Yeah, nosomorph is not a word. That must be a typo. Nosomorphic could be a word.
It might be like a scientific term.
No, I think
it would still come up in a
in a Google search.
Morpher sounds much more accurate.
Neosexual.
No-sexual?
Neosexual. The neosexual rebels.
Keanu Reeves sexual?
Okay, there is an R missing. It should be nosomorphic.
Right.
And I am just getting mesomorphic, non-isomorphic. Okay, I only have one thing from Bill O'Neill Info that uses the term nosomorphic on the first page here, and it's a horrible website.
There should be an R. There's an R.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
there should be an R.
Okay, so basically, if you go to the Wikipedia page
on the first page
for cisgender,
this is the only site I found, and don't click it; it will give you eye cancer.
Yep.
And
yep,
it's from 2019.
Eye cancer. Yep.
And yeah, although you may disagree with arguments to abandon a nosomorphic view, whatever that means, or with notions that regard transsexualism as a minority which has been pathologized, you may hold a distinctly difficult position to support. This site doesn't explain the term.
No, I feel that this is just a very cherry picked.
I would say this is esoteric nonsense.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is just trying to. This is all just trying to deflect from
I think Jesse just read this off the Wikipedia.
Yeah,
I believe Jesse tries to be intellectual here, meaning pseudo-intellectual.
Yeah. A faux intelligence.
She basically did not copy paste
if I can't find
text
this word
from the Wikipedia
on a standard
she typed it out.
Search engine, then something's wrong here.
Yeah, so she did
if
not.
If a German person is saying I don't understand this German, then I'm.
What did she say the guy's name was?
What?
Let me rewind.
Wovon zum Henker redest du?
So bothered by it. Even people like William Shatner, who do seem to be trans supportive overall. Well, it's all about the context in which people like William Shatner and many other people encounter cisgender. You see, the word cisgender is relatively new, first coined in 1991 by a German scientist named Volkmar Sigurd in his essay Dein Transsexuellen und...
Volkmar Sigurd.
Volkmar Sigmund?
It's on the guys. This is on the guys. Go to the Wikipedia page for cisgender. It'll say etymology and terminology, and all she's doing is reading the first paragraph. That's all she is doing. Okay, and just there's the links right there.
Say it.
I don't know how to pronounce that. I don't know.
Volkmar Sigmund. By the way, that guy looked black.
Did he?
No, I don't think
he was white, but it was black and white.
Well,
1991 pick.
Okay,
1991.
So this guy is a German sexologist, physician, and sociologist.
You did find his? Can you put a link into Discord? Because I must have heard the name wrong.
That's the actual Wikipedia.
That's the cisgender side. Okay.
Right, and that's the
so that's obviously
Zigush. Okay, I haven't heard that name before.
Sigush. Yeah.
Here's the article. I believe that's it in English.
Okay.
I believe, I think that's the essay by Volkmar Sigurd.
Brutally honest, I don't care. What's this got to do about William Shatner?
She is just trying to get the origin of the word. And
oh my God!
It's not important.
He studied medicine, psychology, and philosophy. Student of Max Horkheimer and Fyodor Adorno. This guy is a high-level neo-Marxist.
Any relation to Foucault?
That's basically the circle. So Foucault is the French adaptation. Max Horkheimer is the guy that, at least when I was a kid in socialist East Germany, was the guy who coined the long march through the institutions as a strategy. That's not a conspiracy theory. That is the actual strategy.
He cites Foucault in his references.
Okay, I'm not surprised. This is a pseudoscientist.
Yeah.
I would just guess. This would be my guess, because due to the people he associates with, which are pseudo-intellectuals and pseudoscientists in my view, because they babble a lot about nonsense.
Yeah, it's a lot of fucking commie gobbledygook, you know?
Yeah, and these people went dumb, but what they did was pseudoscience. And this is, please be aware of this. The way I learned it, Horkheimer was the guy who coined the idea of the long march through the institutions, which means it's the strategy of socialists to slowly, through the generations, generation by generation, getting into every institution, every part of society, which is what John Peterson noticed as the middle management at first, some years ago, to take over all of society. This is a generational plan. Yeah. And I was taught this as a kid, that this was awesome, because East Germany. And then 10, 15 years later, when I talked about, or rather 20 years later, when I talked about this with the SJWs in Germany, when the name wasn't a thing yet, they said, oh, this is a conspiracy theory. No. I was taught this as a kid, that it's awesome to do this. This is a conspiracy.
The Frankfurt School, right? This is like the Frankfurt School and all that.
Yes. Yes. I was also told by SJWs that the Frankfurt School is a conspiracy theory. We have workers' union houses that have taverns in them that are called the New School, which is another name of the Frankfurt School. And then socialists from the US want to tell me that the Frankfurt School is a conspiracy theory.
How is it a conspiracy? Like, the critical theory is like literally on the syllabus.
It's because they try to call. Every time you call them out on something, they call it as a conspiracy theory to throw you off.
Yeah,
and you can't. I'm sorry, I'm German. You can't do that with me because this is all around here. It's always been.
Yeah.
In East Germany, whenever we had a party.
Sorry.
We had a party because I think it was in 2013 to 15 at some point. I had a discussion with someone who wanted to tell me that social justice is a conspiracy theory. It doesn't exist, which is hilarious, especially nowadays, because in the Anglosphere they haven't been talking that much about the term. That came in especially the last couple of years. But in Germany, soziale Gerechtigkeit has always been in the mouths of the left and the Social Democrats as well. And in East Germany, after the wall fell, we had a party that was called Wahlalternative Soziale Gerechtigkeit, which means voting alternative social justice. That's been in the early 90s. And a lot of the Socialist Unity Party members went right into that. And they joined with a West German party together to form the new party that is simply called Die Linke, which means the left. And then some American twat wants to tell me that social justice is a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, and it's also like the same thing with like cultural Marxism. Because to me, it's like it's not a conspiracy. It's literally just descriptive. It's describing what these people are like. It's applying Marxist sort of rhetoric and ideas of class struggle to things other than economic classes. That's literally all it is. It's just describing people that do that. So I don't.
So the point is, it's not a conspiracy theory. It's an open conspiracy. And the term conspiracy theory was itself introduced as a way to slander people who dig too deep.
Yeah,
I think that came up during the Kennedy thing.
Yes, CIA made the word conspiracy theory negative to disrupt people, but they also attached it to like Bigfoot. And
I still like the conspiracy theory. I still like the theory that fake conspiracy theories are made up so that they can then be discredited, so that they can then be used as an example of what a conspiracy theory is.
Yeah.
So that you can point to it and go, look at this conspiracy theory that turned out to be false, but that was actually planted. You know, that was actually.
Yeah.
And what we see is the way why this Jesse here has this very weird idea about the transsexual stuff is and Jesse may as well have real gender dysphoria, but I don't know. Could be. There are trannies who fall for this stuff because it's everywhere right now. It's when you have this issue and you look for information on it, you will only find social justice nonsense. Only the esoterics.
Well, it's the same thing.
That's a big problem.
It's the tranny equivalent of, you better vote Democrat. If you don't vote Democrat, you're not black.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of thing,
exactly. And this and
but don't face. I'm not. So what can I do?
It turns up all over the political spectrum. Gender dysphoria doesn't have a political alignment. it just gets you, just like the gay just gets you. That's why there are gay Republicans, gay libertarians, gay ANCAPs. And the thing here is, why they latched onto this is socialism wants to make everyone equal. That's their god, essentially. Their highest principle. Everyone needs to be equal. That's where the equity thing comes in. And so in order to do that, they need to get rid of all boundaries between all categories. So what they do right now is divide and conquer, where they set up more categories in order to create chaos so that they can seize control. That's a standard political strategy.
But one of the major problems is that to make everyone equal, you can't make everyone equal at the top of the chain. You have to. It just makes everyone equal at the bottom.
Yeah, that comes later.
And that's I know that
comes later.
Just saying.
Yeah.
They start to realize. Oh,
I want to continue on with the video if we can, guys.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. No, that's fine.
I just wanted to get into why they come up to this weird trans view.
That's just a theory.
They need to make everything the same, and they found with the gender dysphoria, which is a medical condition that can be mapped out, can be measured with medical tests, like brain scans. They saw, with this we can just talk some esoteric nonsense, and we can say there are, if people go from sex A to sex B, or try to, that there are infinite sexes and genders between that, by which means we can erase the boundaries between sex and gender, between the sexes, and then in the end declare that everything's the same. So they use an actual condition and then create fan fiction about it, esoteric fan fiction and nonsense that fits their belief system. It's like the when the creationists find some weird things about dinosaurs and fossils, and then create some justification of how that still fits into their creationist worldview.
Yeah. All right.
So that's how they essentially abuse our condition. And yeah.
All right, let's try and finish this off under 10 minutes, I hope.
Sorry.
Unsen Blick. God, I can't speak German. Apologies to my German viewers out there. In English, that essay means transsexuals and our nosomorphic view, which I still don't understand what that means.
You found the R.
But anyways, cisgender didn't even come to English until around 2007. So basically, it's still not even old enough to get drunk in the United States or even drive. Or drink and drive. And it is obvious, cisgender became more popular during the explosion of mainstream awareness of transgender people in the last decade. And while the use of the term cisgender is more common in
liberal media
and
liberal spaces,
the word cisgender hasn't become widely used in many places around the country and around the world, and is often only really commonly used and known by those in the trans community or those who have experience with trans communities, something that a lot of people don't have or don't feel like they have. It's
due
also
to abuse
only really
by
ever
people
used
like
when
you.
there are, trans people around.
Oh, don't feel like you have. So what? Oh, you do, but you don't. You don't know. You do, but you don't even know. Like, okay, buddy.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
All this is just bullshit. Trying to.
It seems like gaslighting to me.
Yeah,
In a way,
all this is just saying. Yeah, this is just saying, like, wow, we got caught out trying to insult a 90-year-old man. I better try and find my excuses.
Yeah, but in a way, I see this as admittance because of the term just being used in a derogatory fashion, because it's solely, Jesse just admitted that it's solely used within the alleged trans community. That is not a community. Yeah. And I only use it in derogatory fashion. It doesn't make it into the common people's language, which means it is a failed neologism.
Yeah. Well, realistically, for most people, you're not going to be talking about this thing that often in your life. It's not going to, like, most people are not going to be having conversations about this very much at all. So it's just not going to come up that much.
No one needs to talk about it, really.
No one outside of Twitter has ever referred to me as cisgender.
And we'll probably look at them funny if they started a conversation like that. Like, hey, cisgendered man. Like, wait, what? What did you just call me?
Yeah, I'd be like, Beg your fucking pardon. What? Why would you come up to me and say this? What's going on?
Yeah.
Kind of like no one talks about how you're single until your mother walks into the room, and then suddenly everything's about how long it is until you're getting married. But regardless, some people, and I assume William Shatner is one of these, just don't hang out with or know a ton of trans people. And so they never really encountered the term cisgender in passing.
Yeah, gee.
And I mean, I myself never really encountered the term until just a few years after I came out as transgender back in 2014. But
which should tell you that it's made up bullshit.
Who do regularly encounter trans people or live in areas with a larger transgender community like Los Angeles, you'd find that many people often use the term cisgender in a completely wrong way.
The Shira,
For example, my roommate is a cis dude, many of my friends are cis, and many of my coworkers throughout my life have been cisgender as well. And
most of them.
What does that tell you?
Just say they're women. Just say they're women. It's not hard.
I tell you, the Shira fandom is comprised mainly of...
is fucking insane.
Yeah, it's similar to the Steven Universe thing. It's mainly comprised of girls with narcissistic and borderline personality disorder with Munchausen syndrome, because they come up with bullshit that they are not.
It's short-haired girls who play the ukulele.
You could say it like that.
I've said there's so many of them. Where it's like girls with short hair who play the ukulele and like play the little songs from Steven Universe. And
Dollface is not wrong. He's not wrong here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But if you just come out as transgender and in 2014, and that is the first time you start hearing cisgendered, then that means that people are using the fucking term.
It all comes back to Gamergate.
Yeah.
Probably.
It all comes back to Gamergate.
Well, I was watching recently. It all comes back to the Occupy Wall Street thing, because after that happened, all this progressiveness started to kick off.
There is no Carol in HR.
Yeah, that's where the divide and conquer started to happen.
Yeah, after Occupy Wall Street, that's when
it
we
gets really
to see
strong.
All this. That's when we start to see all the big things about. That's when the SJWs started to kick off, really. So, most likely, most of the progressive stuff is just a psyop. Psyop by the elite to divide us, and it's worked really well because these fucking mentally ill people jump straight onto it and were given positions of power. But hey ho.
And on a side note, I can reassure you all and your audience, I have several instruments and not one of them is a ukulele.
I saw you.
Are you a member of the Steven Universe fandom?
Also, my hair goes down to my bum.
Your hair goes down to you, yeah, that's perfectly fine. You can't put
just want to make sure.
It's too long. We'll get on the strings.
It's supposed. The hair's supposed to be in the back. It's bad when I noticed the problem at some point.
Though I can't really talk. My hair's getting really long nowadays, but the hairdressers are all closed, so nothing I can do about that.
Anyway.
Yeah, this isn't an experience that everyone has. However, we do tend to encounter a much larger variety of people online, including trans people. I mean, you people watching this video right now are encountering a trans person, me, only because the internet connects us. And for William Shatner, a big-time celebrity who likes to tweet so much he even talks about...
And what the internet especially does is spread delusions. And
the internet was a mistake.
No, not really. But just what the internet does is this social contagion is amplified of the social contagion of bad ideas. And now, one problem we have is that all these borderliners with their magical thinking, who have trouble distinguishing internal from external objects, psychologically speaking, now exchange their ideas of being esoterically special, because the same people that now come up with I'm non-binary, I'm a astral gender, and I'm a swamp gender, and I'm a Lego gender, 10-20 years before they would have been emos and talking to angels and channeling aliens. It's exact same thing. And having the little crystals with which they do crystal healing and all of that. It's the same thing. Same type of people.
Don't insult the spiritualists. They're not that bad.
Yeah, because you have to know that spiritualism is vital to the existence.
I've frequented tea shop a lot, and there come a lot of these esoteric types through that, and there are some who are surprisingly grounded, and a lot who are just they're not really here in reality.
My mum was a spiritualist for a couple of years, but then she saw the light.
In the mountain crystals? Mountain
Damn, you fucking killed her? Damn.
No. There's actually a spiritual.
Like, damn, you fucking killed her. Damn.
No.
Well, I think we all.
Yes and no.
We've all learned that that spiritualism and queerness is vital to the existence and
queerness
to survival in the post-apocalyptic zombie world.
Queer is a stepping stone to being told you're trans.
No,
queer doesn't mean anything.
We don't have a queer in our group. We're not going to survive. No.
Oh no! Someone needs to dress weird so we can call him queer, and then we are saved.
I just love this. No, I can't. No.
Yeah,
move on.
I'm a bigot for disagreeing.
Smudge, you're a bastard for bringing that back up.
Remember, guys, if you don't agree with me, you're a bigot. That's just how it goes.
You are a transphobe.
Wait.
Speak like that. I can't breathe when I...
Queerness isn't a luxury. It's a necessity. No. Anyway, moving on.
Anyway, William Shatner. That's right.
How he loves to in his own books, most of his encounters with trans people are going to be online. And online discourse is like the inside of my brain after I watched a Zack Snyder movie. A hateful and confusing place filled with a lot of conflicting opinions that all really want to be heard but will certainly piss someone off.
Then you shouldn't be on the internet.
There are honestly some really loving communities and people on social media, and honestly, I personally cherish some of the friendships I've been able to make. But as with so many things in our culture, a lot of stuff has been overly politicized. And social media is a place where that polarization gets
extremely If you can't be civil online, you shouldn't be on social media.
Like lack of accountability, or the fact that you can easily not see someone you're talking to online as another human being, but just as an avatar.
Wait. Why J.K. Rowling's trans views are so insidious?
Yes, so insidious. Yeah, I just saw that pop up and I was like, wait, hang on. Hold on.
Nothing offensive about J.K. Rowling's trans views. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Thank you.
And it's not turfy either. I've talked with turfs, and although many of them are a bit insane,
well, they are women. So.
Dude, the thing is, so I'm a tranny. I've talked with SJWs. I've talked with TERFs. TERFs are more grounded in reality.
Yeah.
I can have a more civil discussion with TERFs than with SJWs. This is an insane situation.
The best thing with SJWs is to wait till they reach their early 30s. And the baby clock starts ticking. They soon change the tune.
Oh yeah. My Mr. Miyagi from the tea shop is he's been through the hippie times. That's when he had his youth, and he said all the hippie girls awesome, pretty, usually two stones, so you couldn't have sex with them, and and they were all feminist and wanted these emotional nice guys. They were usually not very muscly. They were twigs like the soy boys today. And they were all nice and open with their emotions, as I said. And after university, a couple years after university, they got sick of them, put them all to the trash, and every girl from that time he met later on again in his life, because the world was a bit smaller, every girl of that had a hunk of a man and at least 3 children. I was a happy housewife.
Also,
they got feminism fucked out of them and realized I want a family. That makes me happy.
Meek and Mild does not win a lot of things. I'm sorry, the movies lie to you. Women want a man. Women want a man who will stand up for themselves, and
and for them,
yeah,
and for the kids,
yeah, and for them,
and the love from kids is just it's amazing.
Yeah, there's a reason why people say children see their dads as superheroes, because you're meant to be the Rock and the.
I think a lot of what people say they want in a partner is performative. It's what they think other people want to hear. Like what they think other people think is what they're supposed to like. So they'll say, "Oh no, I want someone who's sensitive and who's in touch with his feminine side," and then in reality, like it doesn't work out with that. And it's like, well, it just happened that way. It was just a coincidence that it happened to be the really masculine man with the stereotypically handsome features and the stereotypically masculine personality. It just happened that it turned out that way. But I totally would date someone who was sensitive and not stereotypically masculine. I totally would, but then they got the warped views induced when they were still impressionable. And over time, many of them, sadly not all of them, many of them learned to get in touch with themselves and accept what they actually really want. Which is, by the way, similar to my stupid trans bullshit. I had to accept what that is actually about, and that
let's be honest. Most women want their head full and their ass spanked while they're bent over screaming to whatever god they want. Let's not lie to ourselves.
It's very simple. Just do what makes you happy while it doesn't hurt anyone else.
Yeah.
And what Hawk said, yeah.
Yeah, and what I said. I'm not lying. This is true. Make them scream to whatever religious idol they believe in.
There you go.
It's
have them reassess their religion every time they're with you. That's okay. All right.
Is there an action figure of Esri Dex?
Pardon?
just between the blue and purple thingy. I think that's Esri Dex.
Let me check. I can't quite tell. No, it's probably Jedzia.
No, but Jedzia has long hair and curves.
She usually has her hair tied behind her, though. Or at least the first season.
Yeah, she usually does. Yeah. She did, yeah.
I can't tell. Anyway.
Yeah. But, yeah.
Our social media account. And one issue that has been incredibly polarized has been around transgender people. I mean, look at how many laws and arguments and discussions come up about trans people all the time in the news.
That we don't
and most of us trans people are just trying to do our damn best to live our lives and make sure I get Star Trek videos up every single week for you guys.
Yes, and that's why we don't want these laws and
comes up online for people who are not regularly connected with trans people in everyday life, they often seeing it being used in these discussions, which are themselves polarizing. And often they see the term cisgender coming up in derogatory ways. Like someone saying, hey, why is this cis man saying stupid things about trans people?
And that's what he did with
seen someone use that
William
term
Shatner.
in that specific way repeatedly because, again, he doesn't often have a chance to encounter the word cisgender elsewhere, and so only sees it being used in ways used to describe him online, and often disdainfully because, again,
that's all that needed to be said.
That's what he needs to do. That's what he needs to do, yeah.
So you understand why you
now contradicting what she said
Yeah. Yes, so now you understand why he does not want to be
finding it offensive
why does not want to be called that.
But didn't Jesse in the beginning say that it's not used this way, but against Shatner now says it is used that way against Shatner?
So what is the issue with him finding it offensive? Like that's, I mean,
it's not self-defeating.
Well, no, she's trying to say that because it's only used publicly in a negative way, and that's the only time that Shatner sees these things, therefore he sees it as a negative way, therefore he is transphobic as a result.
But that's not his fault. Even if we give the benefit of the doubt that makes him transphobic, he is that is the fault of the alleged trans people who use it in a derogatory way towards him, so he has a negative reaction to it. That is not the fault of William Shatner.
Yeah, why?
They are essentially, the SJWs are blaming the victim.
Yeah.
He didn't actually say anything about trans people.
Yeah, no, he didn't. All he said was, please stop calling me cisgender, because you're not using it as a term to define me, you're using it as a term to insult me. And you know, they know this. They're now just trying to find ways to excuse their behaviour. They are literally coming up to you after they punch you in the nose and saying, oh, sorry, my arm just spasmed and I hit you.
We call you an asshole, but you're not allowed to be offended because then you admit that you're a mean person.
Yeah.
Fuck.
That seeing someone at him and using the term cis in association with him in a derogatory and disdainful way over and over and over and over and over and over again. So, of course, he's going to assume the term itself is derogatory because that's the only context by which he has encountered the term.
What? We should maybe tell him something. So it's his fault. It's his fault that people are insulting him. Yeah, okay, then.
Yeah, totally.
Like, there's no such, in a way, there's no such thing as a derogatory term. Like, a term isn't derogatory in and of itself. The use is derogatory. Like, to a certain extent, there's no word that's actually on its own derogatory without being used.
Regardless. No, regardless. So what we're saying is, if a transgender person said something stupid, right, we're allowed to insult them endlessly because it should tell you something about them, which they would not allow. They'd soon all be up in arms. This is literally trying to find excuses for their shitty behaviour.
Yeah, and the common thing that psychological emotional abusers, gaslighters, and narcissists, yes, all psychopaths are narcissists, and 5-year-old kids do is try to turn around the perpetrator-victim narrative, and blaming the victim is part of that. They turn around and I who hurt you, I am actually the victim, and you whom I'm hurting, you are actually a perpetrator, and therefore it is just for me to hurt you.
Yeah.
You are not allowed to defend yourself.
Why the xenomorphs are actually the good guys.
And this whole bloody movement is doing that on a day-by-day basis. And that's what I wanted to say before. The problem is they're using the strategies and tactics of 5-year-olds. And if we deal with 5-year-olds, well, we deal with them like 5-year-olds. But since these people are all have adult bodies, we're not dealing with them like with 5-year-olds. We try to reason with them. Can you reason with a 5-year-old?
No, you can't.
So why do we try to reason with these people?
And have a 10-hour-long philosophical conversation with a 5-year-old. That's not possible.
It's essentially the you can't convince a liar of the truth. You can't wake a man who pretends to sleep.
Yeah, you can't convince a fool they've been fooled.
All right,
so it's more
this is pretty much summary of what exactly we needed, because it got a while to get there. I know she didn't really meander. She defined a term, which was fine, just not in the greatest sense.
She rambled, we rambled.
Yeah. Well, okay. I'm gonna end it here just because it's gone on so long and you guys are kind of nodding off and having a good time drinking. But if you guys want to continue this tomorrow, we can. I don't know if it's up to you if you want to come back. We don't have to finish this.
Oh, I certainly would, and if you can deal with my tangents, that is, I try to keep it down. I just fail.
Well, Wispy, you know a lot more about stuff, obviously, with going through your situation and everything. So yeah, that's fine.
Like, wait, it's all tangents. Always has been.
Always has been.
I was seeing a meme in my head.
Oh no.
Yes.
Anyway,
thanks for inviting me. I'm not enjoying it. We're not finished yet. We're not going yet.
Okay, so I'm gonna end it right now, just because we've been going on for 3 hours and a half. We're not even halfway done, so it's usually a sign of us talking too much. So yes, we continue this tomorrow. That's not a problem. I don't mind finishing off. Yeah. I don't think we really covered much of Jessie Jenner in a while, so this is probably going to be our last one anyway, unless she does something really hilarious, which I don't think she really does. She just has bad taste in and explanations why she likes lower decks and whatever Discovery is all about these days. So talking about this topic is fine. I don't mind it, and it's always nice to change things up. Although we have been talking about all these things about sexuality and masculinity and this and that for the past few weeks. So it's like, maybe we need to switch it up. So I don't know. This will be enough.
This video is really great of pointing at and elaborating on all the errors the SJWs have about these topics.
Right.
Yeah.
Because Jessie's going over all of them.
Yeah. She thinks she's defending stuff. In reality, she's just pointing out the flaws of everything that SJWs do.
Right.
So.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, thanks very much for tuning in. We're gonna close it now. But thanks for Wisp for coming on. I really appreciate all your insight and wonderful stories about, well, things that we did not even know. So that was great.
No.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, thanks for having me on and bearing with me.
Well, when you got a German, like we had a Swiss on the other time, it's always nice to have a different outlook on life and to use the actual knowledge and experience from other cultures to enlighten the rest of us.
Smud just hates being surrounded by British people. So
there's a little too many British people in my life these days. Online, I gotta mix it up a bit just to see what I'm missing.
Ja, wir können das ändern.
Yeah. So thank you everyone for tuning in. We'll talk to you real soon, probably tomorrow evening if you're still around. And again, keep the suggestions coming.
Mm-hmm.
I went through the full list, so they should be all added. If they're missing, please message me directly, and I'll make sure I didn't miss your shot at us covering something. But also keep voting in the 6 or 7 or so channels. Yes?
Just a thing about the voting. You can vote on numerous channels.
Yep.
So don't just think you just like stuck with just doing one, because there's been a few questions just recently in the Discord.
Well, I leave it
about how the voting works.
Yeah, no, I have it on the description of every video right now. So it's like there's multiple channels. So 1 to 6. There's a short one. We also have some private channels because when we do eventually another Renegade Cut and another Maggie May, we have those lists. So, but we don't know what we're doing yet because it's up to the rest of us that want to actually cover it because not everyone can handle that stuff. So,
what it really says is, what does Smud want to drag me into?
This is true. I gotta plan this out to make sure I don't hurt anyone. And we already broken Shiny a few times. So
can we please stop inviting British people on this podcast?
It depends. It depends.
It's not that. It's not. Stop inviting British people on the podcast. It's also like, but Hawk is one of the only people who says yes to all this crazy shit as well.
I say yes quite a lot. It doesn't count. But,
well, we do have Dunn. We do have a few others that don't mind coming on, but I can't just throw like 5 people together. It'll take too long. We'll flip out at every bloody sentence and we'll just never finish. So I gotta be smart about this. But anyway, thank you for tuning in. We'll talk to you guys real